Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. What do all men in power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom. Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. I always said one of the reasons why I love to be on the air on the show, even though normally I don't really care, it is because I try to use this opportunity to better communicate with each other. And as I said, this is exactly the forum. I invite and I always welcome people that we may have disagreements because, after all, maybe sometimes communication is the essence to know more exactly what we're trying to say. And, especially when it comes down to public business and people work for us and they represent and they also manage our tax dollar, I think this is a very important opportunity. And I always say, everything starts at local level. Yes, we have a federal government that's out of control, but at the same time, we may not change that immediately. But I really believe we have a great opportunity with our input of taxpayers and citizens, of course, to try to improve what's going on in our counties. That's the idea. Now, straight to the point. I read a few days ago an article from the Havasu News, today's News Herald, regarding this program, or at least this grant, or let's say incentive exactly, of $500,000 that the Mohave County supervisors gave, or they want to give, to this private company to relocate or to start to create some sort of a business here in Mohave County. Now, before I go ahead, I want to be sure I really appreciate when I invite somebody that normally I disagree, and I call him, I try to create, of course, some controversy. That's part of the idea to have a talk show. I don't want to have people that we agree, otherwise it would be very boring. So anyway, whenever I call somebody on Facebook and they want to come here on the air and say their side, first of all, not only I invite them, but I'm very happy to have them here because this is exactly the purpose of the show. To have people that we have different ideas, or at least maybe we think we have different ideas, and we find out exactly what's going on. Now, today I'm going to have in the next few seconds Supervisor from District 2, Mohave County Supervisor hildy-angius. And by the way, we have a lot of things we've been agreeing with her, but on this one I call her off, and I say exactly what I say, and I stay behind my words. And I want to be proven wrong, of course, that's the idea. On this post that was exactly posted yesterday, at least a few days ago, on my Facebook page, I said there are two different types of socialist programs, people's welfare and corporate welfare. This is exactly an example of corporate welfare. Very disappointed with Supervisor hildy-angius and Stephen Moss. I don't talk for the others one because I'm always disappointed with the other two. But the funny thing there was, anyway, Supervisor Johnson, that normally I don't really get along, or at least, I don't have much the same tune. On this one, he was right. But exactly what happened? Let me just give the floor to Supervisor hildy-angius so she can explain exactly what is this $500,000 in incentive, and also she can say exactly why it is a good thing for Mohave County and for our tax dollar to have done that. And I also said to Supervisor Moss that he's going to listen to this show. If he wants to add something, I will have him too. That's the idea. Anyway, Supervisor hildy-angius, are you there?
I am here.
Thank
you very much, Luca, for having me. I always enjoyed talking to you. We go back, and I think we agree on more than we disagree. And I have credited luca-zanna with being one of the reasons, a large reason why I am sitting where I am sitting. So I listen to what Luca says because I think everything that he says is very important, and that's why I wanted to maybe clear up some misunderstandings. And I think there are some misunderstandings, but there's also philosophical things. Mm-hmm. Granted. But first of all, this incentive, it's $500,000 from Mohave County and $500,000 from the state. Mm-hmm. What happens is if a large enough company, we're not talking about a small company, we're talking about a company like Dot Foods that has $6 billion in receipts, wants to relocate. We're always talking about trying to get business and economic development into our state. And, Phoenix does what they do, but they rarely, let's say, throw leads our way. It's very hard to get companies to come to Mohave County. Let's be honest. We are a kind of a poorer county. There are issues with our workforce, and those are the kinds of things that we're told constantly. So when something like this comes along, and what happens is, so Dot Foods goes and they talk to an agency out of Phoenix, the state called the Arizona Commerce Authority. And they say, okay, guys, we want to come to Arizona. If we look at our map, we have kind of a hole in the southwest. They are a food distribution company, a huge one. I think they're like the second largest in the country. And they look at the whole United States and the kinds of incentives other states. I mean, if you look at New York. I mean, after years of driving away business, they're getting business back because they're giving these incentives. And incentives can take many, many forms. I think the ones that we are used to are sort of like tax incentives. When the Target came to Bullhead City, they did like sort of a moratorium on sales tax, things like that. It is sort of a new thing for Arizona and Mohave County, and this is, I think, where our disagreement comes from. And I don't want to say disagreement because I don't like it either. Nobody likes it. This is, I know people don't like this, it's kind of the new norm. But I don't look at it as welfare, and I'm going to tell you why. Mm-hmm. Welfare is giving money to something, and with no expectation of return. This is an investment. So let me go on with that, just so that in your back of your head, okay? So they go down to the Arizona Commerce Authority and they say, this is what we would like. This is what we see other states will give us. And for us to come here, we would like $1 million. Wow. All right. And so the state looks at that and they say, okay, and then they vet. The state, we didn't vet them. The state vets them and says, they are what they say they are, this, and then they look around the state and say, where would be a really good place for them? And the first place they actually looked at was Lake Havasu. Lake Havasu wanted them really badly. Everybody wants business, right? Jobs, business. Mm-hmm. But it had to do with the amount of land. They need a lot of land. I know people on your Facebook page were talking about we have so many empty buildings in Mohave County, and that is true. But this is a very unique kind of business where they need specialized. And you're talking about basically building a giant refrigerator in the middle of Mohave County, right?
Yes.
It's a trucking. It's a trucking company. It's called Dot Foods Transportation, and they distribute. So they needed land, and so that didn't work out in Havasu. So then next they went to Bullhead City, and Bullhead City wanted them so bad, and they went looking around. Now the problem with like Havasu and Bullhead is that they can't give the incentives because that would be welfare. Because they cannot get that money back. They don't have property tax. Mm-hmm. Right? If you're going to build, if you build in Bullhead City, where does the property tax go? It goes to the county.
Yes.
So it would be, and people would have issues with that. So what Bullhead City said they can do is team up with MCC, the college, and help invest in the college, which would be good for everybody, and put together a program because they're going to need a very distinct kind of transportation, truck driving, CDL kind of program, college program. Because they're going to have to train people how to do the work that they need to do. So Bullhead City said, okay, we will invest $50,000. And then I think the next they went to, it was such a sort of event where everybody came together to see if we can get this company here. And the reason we want this company here is so important. First of all, they're proposing to invest, just to build their building, $45 to $49 million. That will be almost a $50 million project being built here in Mohave County using our workers, our supplies, everything. So that would come back here. And then afterwards, they say they are going to, after phase one, after 3 years, they will create 170 jobs with an annual payroll of $8 to $9 million, excluding benefits, but we have assurances that they will pay up to 65 to 68% of health insurance benefits. And then they needed enough land for future expansion because they plan to expand. So the state says, this is a great company. We really want them here. Mohave County, we will come up with $500,000, but we want to see you invest in yourself.
Okay.
All right? Because we see it, and I'm not just saying this as a way to cover up. This is an investment. Because if you looked, and I sent you, we had third-party consultants come and look at the deal, make sure it is what we think it is and what they say it is, and they agreed. On property taxes alone, we will make back this $500,000 in 3 years.
Okay.
But it's even better than that because it's not like we shake hands and we cut them a check for $500,000. It is all on benchmarks. So they have to fulfill certain obligations before we cut them checks. And that's the state too. We're basically piggybacking on the state, on their deal. We're not flying solo. We are sort of in business now with the state to get this company here, right? And the state makes out too because, they get their taxes and they get their roads. This company has to help build and fix roads. This company has to, do a whole myriad of things before they get a dime from Mohave County. So at any time they don't meet these benchmarks, they don't get paid. I think there are 3, don't quote me, I could get this to you after.
Okay.
I think there are 3 separate benchmarks at times where, okay, after you hire, 78 people, and the average salary is $43,000. These are middle-class jobs. These are not, casino jobs or fast food. These are good family wage-earning jobs. We've been looking for jobs like this, and they don't come very often, believe me. So when the state comes and says, Mohave County, we want you to invest in yourself, will you do that? We'll invest in you, but you've got to show us that you want to invest in you too. We're like, we're there.
Okay.
We're there.
Let me ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah.
I got you probably about 10 minutes, and that's exactly the idea. I want to let you talk. This is not about interrupting and tell you things over. I want people to understand. This is about it's our tax dollar. This is the perfect platform, so we know exactly why you're doing this. And I'm sure there are a lot of good intentions. Don't get me wrong. This is about being business. But that's exactly my question I would like to ask. Would this the role of government? Is the role of government to be in business, to create jobs? Because the point is, before we go into the good things that you just said, I'm sure there are some very good equations that we cannot underestimate. But let's put first of all, what is exactly the role of government according to your principles, according to our oath of office that you took? First of all, also. And number 2, you think that the job is a right for a human being or not? That's the 2 questions I have for you.
Wait, I didn't understand the last question.
The second question is, first question, what is the role of government? Okay,
right.
Number 1. Number 2, is job for a person, for an American, for a human being, is a right or not? That's the second question.
Okay, the role of government, I agree with you philosophically on all of that. We have crossed that bridge so long ago. I mean, who's the biggest employer? Is government. I don't want to see more government jobs. I want to see private industry jobs. Okay? If in our perfect world, a company would look and say, gee, Mohave County, that would be a really nice place. But that's not the way, when I was running for office or when you talk on the radio, we have sort of this, we talk in ideas and philosophies. But, and this is the interesting part of getting elected. Once you're elected, you have a whole other set of responsibilities. And I look at Mohave County, and I look at the needs of Mohave County and say, you know what? You know, maybe my philosophy about what government should and shouldn't do, it counters what I'm about to do, but in the end, it is a good thing. And I don't even think it is as bad as you say it is.
Okay, let me stop you one second. Okay.
Investment. I'm not. Maybe you're going to think that I'm sort of trying to rationalize it.
No.
But I don't see it as a role of government because
Supervisor Angius.
But we can say the role of government, and look how much we take from these companies.
I understand. Let me tell you one thing. And there are different ways to obtain deserved results, in my opinion. But then I'll tell you also the solution, because I'm not here to bash you or to put down when, you try to do something with a good intention. Don't get me wrong. Right. You have the good intentions for the people. But the point is, at the same time, that also, in my opinion, if we are coming from a point of view, for example, did you support the bailout, the care bailout by Obama administration? Did you support all these bailouts from the federal government? Okay, this is exactly in small scale. Is the same philosophy. If we do not support, or if we did not support the federal government putting out tax dollar, becoming in business, think about it, the federal government went in business with the car industry. They can say the same thing. There was an investment. After all, if they kept the car industry going, they could have kept this business in the country and, more important, get more, tax dollar or revenues. The same principles. So if we did not support that, that's why, especially coming from you and Supervisor Moss, I'm kind of a little bit shocked, because I know where you normally were coming from, at least on many other issues. And I said, wow, this is exactly what normally I would expect from as a more statist / socialist. And I'm not trying to put you down or call you names, but this is exactly the point. The road to hell.
I understand what you're saying. Now, I really do. And I was prepared for it. We talked about it, that this is probably going to be what people think. But the bottom line is we have a county where we have such a high unemployment rate, when the only jobs people can get are low-paying minimum wage jobs.
Okay.
And we have an opportunity to get this company that not only will create middle-class jobs, that will create a whole other subculture of wealth, but will create another tax base to hopefully lower, so we don't have to every year go through all of these things that we go through about taxes, and it all comes down to taxes. We are losing businesses. I mean, you go up and down Highway 95 here, there are so many businesses closed.
I understand.
And so again, you have to weigh. And this is what I say. Philosophically, I agree with you. But I didn't make the rules. And if we're going to be a growing county, I think that if you're going to run with if you want to run with the big boys, if you want to have economic development, there are things that you're going to have to do, and then maybe take a shower after.
Okay, let me get you 1 second. So let's at least, I say I respect you and Stephen Moss, because the idea is exactly whatever you do something, at least you stand behind your point. You got your answers, and that's fine. We may not agree or not, but that's the bottom line. At least you don't run and hide. You did what you did, and you got your answer that you just gave to the public, to us tax dollars. Now, and just because we are here, of course, talking. This is just a little talk radio show. We cannot change everything, but at least we can put people into thinking. All we can do is think, and maybe we can communicate with you. The reality is that according to, let's say, first of all, Benito Mussolini, that's what he said. And I'm not trying to call you a fascist, okay? But the point is, the union.
You just did.
I know. At least this is. I'm just talking through facts and what the things are. Okay, socialism is not even that, nothing else than fascism, the union between corporations and the state. In this case, even if it's just $500,000, okay, and I understand all the good reason you have behind, but we have $500,000 of our tax dollar that Mohave County is happy to share, redistribute, in this case, redistribution of wealth, with a private corporation. Now, I also have another question, mostly for the corporation. Like them, they have multi-billion-dollar business. this little stinky little tip, because $1 million for a company like that, it's almost nothing. Seriously, probably they pay the parking lot. Okay,
I agree with that.
I mean, is that really going to make change their mind?
Yes, I'll tell you why. I'm really glad you brought that up, because this particular company, and we've gotten to know them. They're from the Midwest. Dot it's a family-owned business.
Okay.
It is not, and they say they will never go public. They want they like the freedom that they have, keeping it a privately held company.
Okay.
Dot is the mother, Dorothy.
Okay.
All right, so they are a good Midwest conservative company. They want to know that they're coming into a town that wants them, that is going to work with them. They like to be sort of, for lack of a better term, big fish in a little pond.
Okay.
They come into communities, and then they become part of the community. If you look at everything they do, you look on their website, they give millions of dollars into the communities that they're in. This is an opportunity that doesn't come very often to a place like Mohave County, and I am thrilled. And I think, again, we're not giving them money that we are not going to get back 10, 20-fold. It is an investment, and when you have investment, there's an expectation of return.
Okay.
And the expectation of return that I believe that this company is going to give to Mohave County is going to be felt for years and years. Into our school districts, into our fire districts that are really hurting. You know, how many of our big businesses have shut down, and then you see these little school districts that have no money left. We have problems. So when a big company like this says, we want, and you're right, it's not a big amount, but what it shows them is that we want you. Because they're going to take that money and they're going to put it right back into Mohave County. But it shows a level of buy-in. And apparently this is the way business is done these days.
Okay.
You know, we don't know.
That's fine.
Yeah, and you know, we have discussed. It wasn't like this was presented and it was like we had discussions about it. I mean, we understand that we are a conservative county and that people will. That's why I don't like the term corporate welfare, because it's not corporate welfare. It is an investment.
Okay, and so Obama said, and so Bush said, when they were investing money into the banking system, into the car industry system, it's always an investment, because technically they want their money back with the interest, and they can control, at least they have some sort of regulations. I mean, I read your contract, listed the points, you know. You don't just give this money away, okay, I give you the money. No, you in demand, you ask some sort of points, you know. And I tell you, and that's exactly what disturbed me, because that's exactly proved the point that when there is a government, doesn't matter if it's a state, federal, or local government, that can regulate, in this case through a grant or through a simple donation, or let's put it in this way, tax dollar, extorted dollar. But the point is, you can give this money to a corporation with some string attached. They're called regulations. So the more and more, that's why I say I'm even shocked why this big company, for just a little $1 million, it would go through all this sort of commitment they has to do according to what you wrote and what you ask and demand, because I tell you, it wouldn't be worth the $1 million right there, or the $500,000 from the county. But that's okay. At least, as I say, I'm not trying to convince you. I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm just trying to bring facts when it comes down to, you know, some logic according to what normally we believe. And as you said, you know, this is now you talking because in your seat right now, sitting there, you see that this is the right thing to do. Now, I have a question. More important, I have maybe an answer. There may be other ways to do the same goal you try to achieve. I mean, if you want to bring businesses in Mohave County, I think we are creating now a very bad precedent, because let's say I have some friends, for example, from California. They have really small companies. I'm talking about $2-3 million company, okay? Not in serious like this huge multi-billion-dollar company. But they want to come here. And they say, wow, now I want something too. And at this point, you know, the Pandora's vase is being opened. And everybody, you know, if we have really equal protection under the law and we're supposed to have all the same rights, corporation included, why this corporation say, okay, you got a special $500,000 treatment, and then instead you, if you're just small and pop, you know, a couple $1 million small business, I'm sorry, you got to sort it out yourself. So that's exactly also another thing that I'm a little concerned. What do you think about this?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, of course.
Go
ahead.
This is not a policy contract. Government boards can do what they want to do. We do not have to give everything. But on the other hand, if another company like Dot Foods that is willing to give us 170 to 200 jobs, paying $43,000, and give us the same, come on in. I don't see why that's a bad thing. I mean, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that.
That's good. Listen, as I said,
and that all that would mean is that Mohave County would grow. And again, then you have this discussion: how much do you want to grow? I mean, do you want to be a county that is poor and we can't, that is a retirement community? And I'm just saying that is a discussion that we have ongoing over and over again.
Let's find another solution. I'll give you now my solution. For you, at least for the supervisors that at this point try to give this incentive of our tax dollar, redistributing our tax dollar to come here, that's the solution. My humble solution, if we go back to the main question I asked you, what is the role of government? Is, first of all, job a right or not? I'll give you my answer. The role of government, for sure, it is not to create anything like businesses. It's to defend the people's rights. And, of course, indirectly, when there is freedom, and that was supposed to be your job, guys, to be sure that this county, there is a system that is equal for everybody. We have the basic infrastructure. We have the basic, sheriff, and people doesn't feel threatened, and we don't live like in the Wild West. Then at that point, I think we have a good, fertile ground to create us private to come here and create business. But it's not your job to create anything. You're supposed just to administer that building and the offices that they take care of the basic function of government. Number two, is job a right? Of course not. Because otherwise we go really back to Europe, that in the European Constitution, every citizen must have a job. That's part of the Communist Marxist Manifesto. It is a right only if I gain that right. It's a privilege. I create my own job, or I get hired because I'm worth something. Now, my simple solution, maybe disagreement from probably the philosophy, but I think also something to contemplate. If we stay out of people's business, I mean, if government leave businesses a little bit more alone, that means with less regulations, less taxation, less property taxes, and you guys take care of the basic things like, creating infrastructures, roads. That's what's supposed to be your job. And the way that the communication, everything that, honestly, was private, but still. At that point, when we have low property taxes, look at, for example, in Texas, there is some areas of Texas, like Dallas, I heard, they are completely not even permits, unregulated. So you can have a private contract with the owner, landlord, and you can start your own business. You don't need to go to the county and jump around, all these committees and the planning and zoning and begging and banging and then all these permits. It's much more strict, linear. And business, they are going and flourishing there. So that's, I think, really what I would have thought from somebody like you guys, especially Supervisor Moss, and you coming from normally a point of free market, last time we talked, and, individual rights and less government. And now I see, and that's okay, that's, the direction we have instead. The role of government is to provide jobs, I guess. Are you still there?
I'm still there. I'm listening to what you're saying.
And that was pretty much it. And I'm not trying. Go ahead.
Everything the government does is sort of a redistribution of wealth. We have left that train, and I would love to live in that world that you just described. I would.
Okay.
But it's not going to happen right now.
Okay.
So,
or at least I want to thank you.
Something is going to, but wait, Luca, something is going to happen, and I think you'll like it. And you talked about Texas. Tune in next month at P&Z. Because we are, you heard, and this is something maybe I should save for another show.
Yes.
But there was something called an ag exemption, and it was totally misused. And so I'm hoping to change that into something that is going to help everybody with less permitting and less fees and less inspections.
Great.
And so I'm working on that. But I got to stand by this decision. I
Okay.
think it is a win-win for everyone, given the world we live in today. And I pray this company comes to Mohave County. I think it will be a great thing to have in
When
our
are we
county
going
for
to
so
know
many
that?
reasons.
When you were supposed to know, yes or no?
I think we'll know like tomorrow. I think
Wow.
we'll know by the end of this week,
Okay.
and maybe the earliest. But it was because everybody wants these companies, and again,
Okay.
didn't make the rules. So
All
we
right.
were, and this is not a secret. They talked about it. It was between us and Henderson, Nevada.
Okay.
And what we offer instead of Henderson, Nevada, is sort of our sense of community. Clark County, you have access to your supervisors. You have access. You can make a call, and it's easier to get things done. And I do think we have a wonderful community, and that's what they want to be a part of because they're
Okay.
giving their family. And so I think if you look at everything and why they keep coming back here is because they do understand that it is a good fit for them, and that's why you're right. In the whole scheme of things, $500,000 to them is not much,
No.
but they want to make sure that we really, that we're invested in it too.
Okay.
And I think that's smart.
All right.
And,
Listen, I want to thank you, Supervisor Angius. I want to thank you, and as usual, I respect everybody that maybe we have a little bit different of ideas. You come here and you defend your ideas. I respect you for that. That's all I can say, okay? Thank you very
got
much.
it. And when we do the ag exemption, can we talk about that too?
Of course, I would love that, okay?
All right, you got it. And thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.
Keep it up.
Thank you very
Okay.
much. Thank you very much. That was Supervisor hildy-angius, and this is exactly the idea. The show is exactly to exchange opinions, try to understand better each other, to be sure we have no misunderstanding. I hate when sometimes I read things from the newspapers. I want to be sure the person say exactly on regular. And this is it. And then everybody can make up their mind, and maybe we can help each other, even improving ideas. After all, I'm not here to bash. I would like to give you also some other input. As I said, yes, we want to bring business in the county. I am with you. I am for private business. I am a private business, okay? I never really collected any paycheck from anybody, probably for a month in my life. That's it. But my point is, there are different ways. How can you improve this type of, free market enterprise atmosphere that you don't feel fearing to start to create something? Government is supposed to be a support, not an harassment. Taxation is supposed to be, honestly, zero, but that's another story. But, at least fair, okay? Not using us like, cows to milk. So lower the taxes, have a better environment where people, when it wants to open business, it doesn't take that much. You don't need to feel like, oh my God, now I'm begging. Think about it. I mean, especially if you're in some very regulated businesses like the alcohol business, you have not really any right. The point is, you're always at the mercy of some bureaucracy, okay? Try to open a beer shop. Try to open a winery. Try to open anything with alcohol. You realize that you have really no right. It's just a privilege. And so in general, with every business, because after all, you have a license. The license is exactly what you don't have, the right the right to speak, the right to be free. No, you don't have the right to make your own living unless government gives you that piece of paper they can always remove whenever they don't feel like it. I think the really only license we should have is supposed to be from the consumers. The moment that we do not perform in the right way, we do not fulfill our ethical way to do business, guess what? We're going to go out of business pretty soon. That's the bottom line. But this is just me talking. Of course, I'm an extreme, and somebody called me a lunatic out there, but that's fine. I am behind these words. This is Luca-zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. And don't go away. We got more news and more exciting things going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers.
Here we go, guys. That was a great
justify
interview with the supervisor, Mohave County Supervisor hildy-angius. And as I said, this is exactly the purpose of the show. Try to, first of all, learn from each other. Because sometimes, we don't know everything. And more important, be having a communication is pretty good, especially when we have a civil communication. Because at the end of the day, you know, as I said, we have differences of opinions. And for me, this is exactly one of the reasons why I want to be on the air. I don't mind, of course, to have people that we agree. That's great. But at the end of the day, kind of boring after a while. I like to be challenged. I like to challenge myself. And I love when I'm proven wrong, believe it or not. Now, on Facebook, and I like to use Facebook for this purpose, a few days ago, what am I saying? I brought up a topic about Masonic, Freemasons, okay, Freemasons. And the topic specifically was, there is a program called Masonic Child Identification Program called CHIP, you know, CHIP. That is a charitable initiative, I'm just reading this from Wikipedia, in the North American Masonic Lodge to aid in the identification and recovery of missing children. Of course, what they say that they volunteer and they create this sort of database that they give to the parents. So they do not keep according to their record. So they give this little database with fingerprints, DNA, video, photo, all these things in case the child gets lost or get kidnapped. And I said something that I'm staying behind, you know, on my post. I said, by the way, you know, would you trust anybody, in this case the Masons, to have this type of opportunity to collect this information about your child? And from there, of course, there was a lot of, left and right, people that they're Masons, people that are against the Masons. You know, let me tell you exactly where I'm coming from. I am against anybody. You can do whatever you want. You can believe in whatever you want until you infringe on my rights. Simple as that. That's the spirit of the show. After all, it's called Love, Guns, and Freedom. Okay, so I'm not here to tell you, preach you what you should do. I just tell you your rights end when mine start. That's it. So the point is, I want to learn more about Masons. I know some. I had some family members, they are Masons, and I have some information. But I like to know from you. And my two main questions are, first of all, as a Christian, I'm not here to preach you or to judge, because I'm a sinner. So you can be whatever you want. You can believe in I don't know, in the dog or whatever, in any type of God you believe. Or you can be an atheist. I have a lot of friends that don't believe in anything. That's their belief. Fine with me. So I believe in free will. So you have a chance to do whatever you want, as I said. The only thing I do not appreciate when you have a religion that you try to, let's say, oppress me, or you try to convert me by force. That's where I draw the line. And this is not the case of Masonry, be sure. These people, they don't even want you in, okay? You must be invited to be part of their club. So that's not the case, and that's fine. So as a friend, if I have some friends that are Christians, I may say, by the way, you think that as a Christian, you should be able to also be part of this group. And then I bring some facts. And then if they don't want to do it, I don't care. But the main reason, the main question for me that I'm concerned is, can be a Mason with their secret oath, let's say, a danger to our foundations of our republic, where we're supposed to be within the rule of law, and we are supposed to have equal rights and equal justice. So what happens if a Mason is a judge or has a position of power like a police chief or or a sheriff, or anything that could be anyway in a public business? There is a loyalty oath. But who am I? I'm just a regular guy. So that's why I brought here on the show a real Mason. That his name is Dave, and we don't need to say where he's from. He's Dave. He's a Mason, and I'm really thankful that also is my Facebook friend, and he can share what he knows and what he wants, and he can tell us about this organization. David, are you there?
I am.
Thank you. Nice to meet you again, and thank you for being here with me, okay? And us.
Thank you as well.
First of all, introduce yourself a little bit. I'll let you talk. When did you become a Mason? What type of Mason are you? And why you wanted to become a Mason? Go ahead.
All right. First of all, you aren't invited to become a Mason. In my particular case, I have an uncle that was a Mason, or currently is. And I actually approached him and said, hey, look, I've heard about Freemasonry. It seems like a great way to network with other guys. What can I do? And he kind of smiled and he said, all it takes is to ask. The mantra within the Masonic organization as far as recruiting is to be one, ask one.
Okay.
So he grabbed an application out of his car. I filled it out, gave it back to him. I did an interview, and then that was basically it.
Okay, so nobody forced you with a sword on your throat, okay?
No, absolutely not.
Good. That's a good start. I think that's really good because, as I said, I think that's cool. The problem that I have normally if it was some sort of a coercion, and that's not the case. And I've been sarcastic here, of course, I knew that.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead. So you wanted to be, why did you want to become a Mason? After all, first question, are you also a Christian? Just personal thing.
Yes, absolutely, and have been my entire life. I'm actually the son of a preacher.
Okay, good. So you're a Christian, and you had this need to ask to your uncle, I want to become a Mason. And you say something that I understand, networking. That was the main reason?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, because you think it's good for business. I mean, you can know more people. I mean, that was pretty much, tell me a little bit more about that.
Sure, yeah. In any organization, you're able to network, be it Eagle Scouts, be it an Elks Lodge, a Moose Lodge.
Okay.
Even in my case, being a part of AMVETS and VFW,
okay,
you network with like-minded individuals. The same thing with Patriot Radio Network, the same thing with Facebook. Whatever your given preferences is, you can network with that type of people.
Okay. How many years you've been a Mason so far?
About 5.5 years.
Okay. Can I ask you what type of level did you reach? I know there are different, hierarchies and levels. What is your level?
Sure. I can not only do that, but kind of fix some misconceptions as far as levels.
That's why I have you here. Go ahead.
In Scottish Rite, I'm a 32nd degree Mason.
Wow.
In York Rite, I'm a Knight Templar.
Wow. So you're pretty up there. How long did it take you? 5.5 years. But how did you graduate? I mean, at the beginning it was kind of slow. How does it work, this?
So let me use the analogy of a high school.
Yes.
If you have heard about Masons, you will know that the first 3 degrees are technically the highest level Mason.
Yes.
The highest level Mason is not a 32nd degree. It's a Master Mason, which is the 3rd degree.
Yes.
The reason I say that, and the easiest way to understand it, is if you use the analogy of a high school. You have freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. Now, within high school, you can be the captain of the football team. You can be the drum major in the marching band. You can be the soloist in choir. But at the end of the day, you're still a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
I understand. Okay.
So within Freemasonry, the highest rank is the 3rd degree, which is a Master Mason.
Okay.
Now, once you receive the Master Mason degree, then you can, following my analogy, you can join the choir. You can join the football team. Once you have that foundation, then you can branch out. You can become a Shriner. All of these different areas open up to you depending upon your personal preference. The thing that attracted me most to the York Rite and the Knight Templar is because that is a Christian organization that is based upon Jesus Christ.
Okay. Now, question is, and as I said, I don't like to even think that people think about me that I'm trying to judge others. Because for me, you could believe in zero or nothing or whatever. I don't care. It's not my business to judge. Okay. I'm a sinner myself. And the only thing I would say, if you were trying with your belief to endanger others. Besides that, I have no right to judge you. That's my point. I want to be sure it's clear. But since you said that, you're a Christian, I have just a simple question. Also, we are Facebook friends. I like to talk to you. We have a lot of things we agree, and I think it's great. And I consider like a friend, even I never met you. You volunteer yourself to be with me and tell me about some information. I appreciate it. Now, how do you see Lucifer as a Christian? Is something good or something bad? Do you believe that Lucifer could be some sort of model for us as Christians?
Absolutely not. I believe he's the serpent in Genesis, and he's the dragon in Revelation. He is Satan.
Okay, good. I agree with that too. And as I said, the people that don't agree, that's fine. But now, this is exactly the point. You should probably know the name Albert Pike, that he was probably the foundation of one of the American Masonry, 33-degree Freemason, and also is the author of the book that you should really buy. I think it's part of your foundation, especially in the Scottish Rite, Morals and Dogma. And there is a page, I think 236, something like that. Well, I'll tell you shortly the story, what it says, word by word. And I'm reading with my accent, of course, so forgive me. Lucifer, the light bearer, Strange and mysterious name to give to the spirit of darkness, Lucifer, the son of the morning. Is it he who bears the light, and with its splendors intolerable blinds feeble, sensual, or selfish soul? Doubt it not. And there is more, talking about Lucifer, Satan, and different things. And, as I said, my focus is not going to be here about try to, I'm not a preacher. I don't have the religious foundation and knowledge to tell you all the scriptures. There are many scriptures, by the way, especially when you take oaths in your belief, or at least in your group, that's supposed not never be taken as a Christian. And I don't even want to start to mention the scripture because you can find out yourself. But just this book that I think is the foundation of every Mason. You will ask, who is Albert Pike? He's the guy. I mean, you can see his statue in Washington, okay, D.C. He's the foundation of Masonry. And there is much more. Talking about Lucifer is God. That's exactly what it says, okay? So just a little bit of, word in your ears, and then, of course, it's up to you if you want to, investigate or not. And I had a friend, by the way, bless his soul, he just died like a few months ago. He was at your level, pretty much, and he was also a Catholic, and he was also a great gun owner. He used to have a gun business, so we were pretty close. And I said, I tried to keep his name private. Mark, how can you be a Catholic and be a Mason? I said, what's the problem? I said, listen, as I said, I don't have time to tell you everything, but I gave him a book. And I can give you this book to everybody to investigate, okay? Should a Christian be a Mason? You can find this book on Amazon for $8 or $6 for Kindle. Just check it out. That's pretty much the thing I can say. And there are so many other scriptures that if you read the Bible and the New Testament, like your book, unfortunately, there's some sort of inconsistency that when you are part of this organization, starting from also the different type of oaths, But my main point is this with you now, I know you're a patriot. Are you a veteran also?
I am.
Very good. So you took an oath that I took too when I became a citizen to pledge an allegiance to our Constitution and our Republic and to defend it. And that's great. Now, there are other oaths in your, in your Masonic temple that you take that they're secret, but they're also open to the public, and they can see them. And they're also, for example, specifically, not only oaths that can be considered of violence or at least blood, And I don't want people can find out this online. I mean, there are oaths that if you reveal any secret, may your throat be cut from side to side, and many other things. I mean, my left breast torn open, my heart and vitals taken, and with my body given as a prey to the vultures to the air. I mean, serious stuff. And this is an oath, okay? So at different degrees, different type of oaths. But what is really, for me, most concerning is the oath of loyalty that you have taken among other brothers. Is it true there is a knot between brother and brother to help in every way you can if your brother, Mason, is in distress? Please, articulate.
It's not in every way. Mm-hmm. The oath specifically makes exceptions. Okay. Felonies are one of the many ones. Okay. So, no, I would disagree. If I could real quick back up.
Go ahead, please.
The first differentiation we really need to make is the fact that Freemasonry is not a religion. Mm-hmm. You can't compare it and say, are you Baptist, Methodist, Catholic, or Freemason? It's not a religion. It's a fraternal organization, just like the National Honor Society, just like the Boy Scouts, just like any of these other things. Now, Freemasonry takes its origin back to the building of Solomon's temple. Mm-hmm. So there are biblical influences, but from my personal perspective, mm-hmm. Freemasonry's goal is to make good men better. Now, that being said, what better book to make men better by than by the Bible, which is opened in every lodge, the very first thing. When you take an oath, it's upon that very Bible.
Okay. Just a question. In your lodge, the only book that you have there is the Bible, or I heard that there are also, for example, a copy of the Quran, a copy of the other scriptures of other religions?
I have never once seen anything other than a Holy Bible.
Okay, this is where you state in here in America, because, of course, every lodge may do different things, but I have different other Masons, according also to photos of temples that were taken, that there were more than one book out there. And as I said, for me, it's not even this concern, because as a Christian, I keep my Christianity for myself. And, honestly, whatever they want to do there is not really my concern when it comes down to religion, even if it's not a religion, as you said, okay? I'm not even arguing that part. I mean, I know pastors and preachers may think differently, but that's not my concern. My concern is the oath of allegiance to other. By the way, I can read it. Do you have it? Do you remember the oath of allegiance to your brothers?
Vaguely, it's been a while since I've done degree work.
Okay.
But you're more than welcome to read it.
Yeah, I will get it. But, this is my point. Because, for example, in England, just recently, you can Google it, that England, after all, is one of the pilasters of, Masonry around the world, there was a network, and there is a network of judges, lawyers, police chiefs, and it's been found and proven. It's also almost in mainstream media now, that they were caught somehow, unfortunately, not being fair to the judicial system, because their oath of allegiance and to help each other always brought them before, above the rest of the others. That's the point. Now, that's the main concern that I have, because let's say tomorrow you are, I don't know, a cop, okay? And there is somebody that, is making a minor infraction, nothing really serious, but let's say just crossing a stop, is supposed to stop, he didn't stop. And I know for sure, because I've seen that, not that far from where I live, that things are different. They've been given different treatments. And that's on this small scale, talking about little ticket, fine. Then I can tell you at different levels, and I'm not saying everybody's the same. I'm sure you may be a great guy and probably you're doing everything, according to your morals, and you're not going to do anything bad. But unfortunately, wherever there is power, position of power, humans may abuse it. And that's my concern, because after they have this oath, they need to, beside their crime of a felony, they may still decide. And I'll read the oath pretty soon now. I want you to be sure also that. But so that's my point, But I want you to give us information that you can give that normally could be, ignorance from our side that we are no Mason, misconceptions or things that normally people say, oh my God, look how stupid we are. We are saying things that are not accurate. Give you the floor. Go ahead.
I would say there are quite a few. Some of the movies that have been put out that are about Freemasonry,
yes.
We have joked about within our internal lodge. And, I myself have brought up the question to the master of the lodge and said, why does Freemasonry allow all of these conspiracy theories and all of these myths to be perpetuated? And he said, to be honest with you, those are our greatest recruiting tools. If people think all of that garbage is true, for whatever reason, it causes our numbers to swell.
Okay. Do you have a fee to pay at the end of the year, so like a club, like when you do any club, golf club?
Sure, there are dues. It's $50 a year for the particular lodge that I belong to.
Okay.
And that covers everything from the electric bill to postage to things like that.
Okay. All right. Okay. So it's pretty much that. Now, you feel like as a human being, after 5.5 years in this organization, you have benefits from business point of view, also from a human point of view. You feel enriched about knowledge or in general, spiritually. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Just like I said earlier, I'm also on LinkedIn, which is a business website where you can network with other people in your profession.
Okay.
It's the same thing. And just like the verse says, iron sharpeneth iron, I think it's good to get around other men, learn from them, bounce ideas off of them. One thing I will definitely say is the lodge is very much against political discourse. So politics are not brought up. Religion is not brought up. it's not the time and the place.
Okay. Listen, as I said, this is exactly the purpose of the show. I want people to have their opinion. My only goal is to bring both facts. I would like to invite, I know that there is a gentleman that I'm in contact that is a former Mason, 33 degree levels, and also he has a website, and also now is let's say, reborn Christian, and he has different opinions about things that we are talking. For me, as I said, as a Christian, I'm not here to judge. I don't want to say anything, but my point is, let's read the oath of allegiance between brothers. That could be my only concern. And secrecy, because, you said this, I talked to you before, there is not really a secret, because after all, we have bumper stickers, we got rings, we got, open lodge, even, of course, you must go there by invitation. But the idea is what happens inside, the rituals, the ceremony, the oaths, that they're secrets. You also have a sword that you're never going to repeat. By perjury, you may probably just be a lingo, what they say, but you swear in an oath that you may have your throat cut, your heart pull out, and all the stuff. So it's serious stuff. So my point is, secrecy is always something that disturbs me a little bit when it comes down to these things, especially when there are public officials connected to that, people working for the public. That's my only concern. If you're just a bunch of private people doing your stuff, it's your club, you do whatever you want. I agree with you. Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
One quick comment. When you reference the penalties of violating the obligation, prior to each ritual or each level, or however you'd like to say,
yes,
before it begins, you are given a piece of paper that you have to read and sign.
Yes.
One of the things that it says is that the penalties of the degrees are ceremonial only, and do not reflect what would actually happen.
Okay.
The real punishment, if you violate it, is you can be kicked out of the lodge, you can be put on probation, things like that. Nobody is going to saw you asunder or
I understand.
cut your throat or any of that.
And I expect that. But the point, you still have to say that. Now, let me read exactly. This is exactly from Edmond Royen, Masonic Handbook, page 183. You must conceal all the crimes of your brother Masons, except murder and treason, and this only at your own option. And you should be summoned as a witness against a brother Mason. Be always sure to shield him. Okay? And he keeps going. So this part, I didn't write it. This is from Masonic Handbook, page 183 by Edmond Romain. It's kind of disturbing. That's the part that disturbs me a little bit because, except murder and treason, there is a lot of stuff before murder and treason. It's corruption and bribery and a lot of different things. And this only at your own option. So this is what I read. And call it ignorance, but, I verified the book. I also own many of these books. As I said, many family members I have, they are Masons. In Italy, it's a big, let's say, part of reality. Let's put it this way. Listen, I have 5 more seconds, and I want to have you back on if you want to. I'll give you the floor. 5 seconds, whatever you want to say. Go ahead.
Very quickly, that book is not an official document from any Grand Lodge of Freemasonry. I have never heard anything like that in my life.
Good. Okay, that's your point. Excellent. Listen, David, I appreciate you, and please, let's go back for one more time next time. I'm going to bring you in maybe with a former Mason. Would you like that?
I would love that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Don't go away. We got hour number 2. Great show about guns. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States .fm network. Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States .fm network. Hour about guns, training, and anything in between. I always like when there is more information out, especially when now the new digital format, because it's easy to download, easy to get, and also more affordable. You can go to schools. That's great. And I hope you do. At the same time, I also believe that you should build up like a library with different perspectives. Everybody has, of course, their own history, their background. And I really like when there are people from different backgrounds sharing also the basic of marksmanship and training, but also their personal experiences. Because, after all, yes, the marksmanship, shooting a rifle, shooting a handgun, there are different techniques, there are different theories, but at the end of the day, it's always there. But what I really believe it's different is the human part. Every one of us achieved that type of journey, went through the journey because I had a different path. And, for me, it's different. I was born in Italy, and I came here. I was able to have access to schools and different people that I've been meeting and things like that. But for people, for example, like the guest I'm going to bring you now, the fact that not only has been a shooter all his life, but also he has a past as a former Marine, I think it's very important to have also that perspective. So it is not just the typical, let's say, training institute, but also is a real-life experience. So I had him on the show already a few times, and with him normally we talk about reloads, how to reload the ammunition for rifle, and of course also about different topics when it comes down to talks about guns and rifles. But you know what? I think today is very exciting because he has a new book that is called Fundamentals: A Marine's Perspective, from by author Tim Siewert. Tim, let me just first of all, where are you? Are you there?
Yes, Luca, I'm here.
Very good. Thank you for coming on, man. And I appreciate it. Always, talking to you. And I want to go straight to the point. Let's talk about, first of all, about this book. First of all, what is the topic and why you think it's going to bring something new to these, many, many different books out there. I think you got some good topics there, but I want you to tell them about this. Go ahead.
Well, Luca, I'm in my late 50s, and I originally enlisted right after the Vietnam War ended in 1975, and I've been a competitive rifle shooter since I was in the Corps. I actually shot my first rifle match when I was home from the Corps one time in 1980, and been shooting competitively ever since. And with my first two books on reloading, I'd always wanted to be an author. So when I was in high school, actually, I asked an English teacher about being an author, and he told me to write about what you know about. And so that's the reason why I wrote my first two books about reloading. I've been loading my own ammo since 1975, when I first could get into guns. And then I found out recently that not even the Marine Corps teaches what I learned about marksmanship anymore. The Army, of course, stopped teaching real marksmanship after World War II, and I had originally started working on this book right after I finished my second book in 2013, and worked on it off and on, and then I was off during winter this past year, and I finally decided, I'm going to finish this. And I talked to another friend, and he suggested that I, instead of releasing it as a print version, release it as an ebook. Mm-hmm. And so far, I've sold a few copies. But anyway, my book is basically about 90% of what I've learned in the last 36 years of competitive shooting. Now, granted, I recently made a post on Facebook. I'm not a household name. I know this, mm-hmm. but I do know how to shoot very well. I know how to shoot rifle. I know how to shoot handguns. I've shot 50 straight and trap multiple times. Anyway, so I know how to shoot very well. I've won medals in national competition at Camp Perry. I've won trophies and state championships in rifle shooting. And so there's a lot more to shooting a rifle than putting it in your shoulder and pulling the trigger. I go into detail in the first part of my book. My third book is divided up into separate sections. I refer to them as. I did include a table of contents, but there's not really specific chapters. And the reason why I did that is, and I brought this out in the introduction, is that the fundamentals, the first section on rifle shooting, is 14 parts. And each part builds on the previous one. That's the reason why there's no table of contents. I don't want the reader to just go to, halfway into the book or go to the end like a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. And you got to start out at the beginning. And you have to go through the whole thing. And then there's also a section on handgun shooting. I started shooting competitive handguns before I even started shooting competitive rifle. I used to shoot long before there was the IPSC, association and the USPSA that now govern all these handgun matches. I was shooting what we used to call combat matches, and in the late 70s with handgun from a holster. And there's a separate section on handgun shooting, the basics, the proper grip. I have photographs of the proper grip for handgun shooting. I have a series of photos outlining how to draw a good draw from a strong side holster. And then there's another section on building your arsenal, which is an expansion of an article on my website, which was entitled If I Had Won. And then the last section is another section that I included, which originally was on the website, gun maintenance, which I significantly expanded in the book. There's about twice as much information in that section on the book than there is on the website. And so it's about 150 pages long in the ebook format for $5.99 download. And I was told by Amazon that you don't have to have a Kindle. Any device that has access to the internet where you can download off of the internet is accessible to my book.
Yes.
And that's
I don't have a Kindle, but I can read it directly from Amazon. That's pretty neat. There is a Kindle Cloud Reader, and it works great. And I'm telling you, I think it's very good because what I like, first of all, yes, it is your background, and that's great. But also, I like the way that you approach things. It's very straight to the point, not much running around. And it's a very good, it's like, your experience, your life journey. And I think it's very important that you put it together in a way that is going to stay here. Hopefully other people can enjoy it and, more important, learn from it, and share it. That's the idea. Now, I like the part that you were talking about of course, there are different things that you go into it. Mostly it's the rifle, of course. You got the basic marksmanship chapters, all very well covered. And, one thing that I always say that people don't pay enough attention, especially when it comes down to the rifle, is the sling, okay? The military USGI sling. More important, the purpose of the sling. Because sometimes, I see many rifles, not even with the sling, and when they have the sling, it's just the sling to probably carry the rifle. There are three basic type of way to hold the sling, to use the sling, But let's talk to the public that maybe they're still a little new. First of all, what is the real purpose of the sling? And tell us about the two basic military style to use the sling for real marksmanship.
Well, there's two styles of military slings. There's the leather sling, which was originally designed over 100 years ago. It's commonly referred to as a model 1907 sling. It was originally issued on the 03 Springfield rifle. There is a right way and a number of wrong ways. Of course, I don't go into the wrong ways in my book. I outline with photographs the right way to rig a leather sling on your rifle, and I explain how to use it And then there's the other style of sling, which was, I believe it was originally designed during World War II, originally manufactured out of canvas webbing, and now they're made out of nylon, and it has, it's a different style of sling, but you can still use it. You can use either style of sling in NRA, or what they refer to as DCM, CMP, marksmanship matches. And that is, I'd like to say right now, that was basically the main focus of my book. It's about shooting, it's about competitive rifle shooting, how to get started, what you need to know, and everything in detail. It's not a book about gunfighting or gunfighting tactics or anything like that. There's plenty of that stuff on the internet, all kinds of videos. But what is lacking is books like mine. How to get started. That's just like my books on reloading. How to get started, and in detail, and like you said, step by step from start to finish.
Yes. Tell me a little bit about the loop sling, because many people probably they are not aware, but this sling is one of the tool that we have to really stabilize and control better the rifle to achieve marksmanship, and that's a very fundamental thing. And there are two different ways, the hasty sling and the loop sling. The loop sling normally is the one a little more confusing to the average shooter. Can you I know this is just a radio show, we're not trying to give a lesson or share too much, but just for the fun of it, can you explain the loop sling?
You mean the leather sling?
Yeah, no, excuse me, the USGI web, the nylon in this case, the loop. How do you create the loop?
Okay.
The loop sling. Yeah, that's what.
Right.
Just to be clear with the listeners, we are talking about, as Tim said, there are two basic slings. There is the leather sling, normally from the 1907, the older rifles, and now there is, of course, the main USGI web sling. It's made of nylon, and that's normally the standard sling that we train with right now, unless you want to go into the M1 Garand historical situations. But talking about now, we're talking about the USGI web nylon sling, how to create the loop. That's probably the most steady position from prone to achieve very good marksmanship. How do we do that?
Right. I refer to the sling as the field support device.
Mm-hmm. It is.
And what you do is the sling has the basic nylon or canvas web sling has three major components to it. There's the sling itself, the strap, and then there's a buckle that's kind of like square shaped, and then there's a hook. And when the sling is not in use, you can, and then there's the compression buckle, which is on the sling also. So what you do is you open up the sling. Normally you get them when they're already assembled. See, that's the difference between the canvas, the web sling, and the leather sling, is when you get a leather sling, it's not assembled. And that's where a lot of people get messed up. They don't know how to rig it properly on a rifle, and that's the reason why I included the photographs in my book. But with the web sling, it's usually completely assembled, and the hook, that's supposed to be hooked onto the rear sling swivel for garrison purposes, what they refer to as garrison purposes, with the sling, with the rifle in a rack. And then that's unhooked when you put it on the arm, and then the square buckle, you open up the loop on the square buckle, and you put that on your arm, and you adjust the sling with the compression buckle that is forward of that. And you open it up, and then you can slide that up and down, and you can lengthen and shorten the sling on the front sling swivel to adjust it for length on your arm. And you always want to turn it out.
Yes.
If you're a right-handed, Go ahead.
No, yeah, I'm listening. No, I was listening. Yes, you want to put it out. And it's kind of, it's simple once you know how to do it, but everything, when you need to get there, it's probably one of the most confusing little things, at least was for me at the beginning. And the idea is very important, though. Yes, it can be a position that the sling like that is not exactly gives you mobility. So if you're in a real life situation of probably a combat situation and you need to, it's not going to be the sling you want to use. But if you have the opportunity to have a position where you can apply all the marksmanship and most important, the accuracy, especially for longer distances, we're talking about the 300-400 yards at least. That's the sling that you would like to use. Now, guys, I don't want to confuse you. I understand this is something that you should visualize. This is just a radio show. So I invite you, though, for just $5 in change, you can go to Amazon and get a copy of of Tim's book, because it's very important. After all, it's just a coffee. You sit down at Starbucks, you spend $5, you can get $5, a nice book, and start to look into these very important fundamentals of how to shoot a rifle. And by the way, I want to invite you also, did you know about my new rifle, Tim? Did I tell you? Because we didn't talk in a while. The Freedom Rifle, Don't Trade on Us. Did I ever tell you about that?
Yes.
Very good. Yes.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah, so the point is, guys, it's not just about owning a rifle. It is about become rifleman. Because after all, you can always find the rifle off the ground somewhere one day if you have to. Of course, you must have your own rifle. But the idea is how to shoot a rifle with the marksmanship of a rifleman. The 4 minutes of angle. That's the idea. Now, talk about the other type of sling. We talk about the loop sling. I know it's confusing, but people read the book. I'm sure it's going to be clear. The hasty sling. How do we do that? Always with, of course, the standard USGI web sling. How do we achieve, how can we do this hasty sling? And when is exactly the situation normally we should use it? Because normally we know that when we have the time and we don't need to run around, the loop sling is the way to go. It's the most, let's say, solid position. But tell us a little bit about the hasty sling.
The hasty, what's referred to as the hasty sling, is it's basically you leave the sling attached to both sling swivels. And like I covered in my book, there's actually 5 positions. I'm getting the feedback again.
Strange. Don't worry. Let me put it down. Maybe some problem with the line. Continue, please. I'm reading your book. Maybe that's why I'm reading your Amazon book. Maybe could do that. The problem. Let me shut it down. Go ahead.
And like I covered in my, there's actually 5 positions, and there's variations of a couple of positions, and there's nothing really engraved in stone. And the one position that a lot of people aren't even aware of, and I covered it in my book, it's called the combat squat. And that is a good position to use the hasty sling, and where it's just loose. You put some rifle attached to both sling swivels, and you kind of just shove your arm in there and turn it to the outside and wrap it around and throw the rifle in your shoulder, and there you have it.
Yes, and there are photos, and you can see. But the point is, guys, in this era that there are all these new tactical slings and 1-point slings and 3-point slings, and that's fine. If you have some special purpose as, I don't know, a situation like maybe you think you need to fight people around your home, or maybe in some close combat situation, okay. But I say if you own a rifle, the first thing you should do, in my humble opinion, to buy at least one for each rifle, USGI web slings. I found the best place I found them for the price and the quality, and if you have any other better places, let me know, please, Tim, is at the CMP, Civilian Marksmanship Program, on their website for like $10. They have this nylon web sling. They're really, really good. It's a good shipping, and those are the slings you want to train with. Please say something about that.
Yes, I believe any rifle should have a sling on it, even if it is, like you said, just a plain web sling. because the sling, it serves multiple purposes. I mean, it facilitates ease of carry in the field. It's a field support device. Basically, that's it. But it has two purposes, not just one. And for $10, if those slings are like new or brand new, then you probably won't be able to find them any cheaper anywhere. I remember when you used to be able to buy them for $5, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, probably now it's normal. But I tell you, I've been shopping around, and I always try to find deals for our listeners. And that's, for me, the best sling for the best money. They have also decent shipping, about $6.95. You can buy 2 or 3 slings. You get even, the same shipping somehow. I really believe, if you want to start to shoot a rifle seriously, you should start to learn, first of all, with the sling, learn how to use the sling. Listen, Tim, I need to let you go, but I want you to say, first of all, one time, the website, how can people find out more about your books? And also, please, still, the name of the book and where they can find it on Amazon. Go ahead.
My website is 1776men.com. 1776men.com. I have links to all 3 of my books on my website. My 3rd book, my new book, The Fundamentals, A Marine's Perspective. That's on Amazon as an ebook for $5.99 download. My other 2 books are available also on Amazon, Reloading the Basics and Reloading Beyond the Basics. My 2 reloading books cover everything and then some about reloading. My website is an online magazine. There's a lot more on my website than just links to my book.
Yes.
There is a plethora of articles about politics, some about religion, history.
Exactly.
Welding. I mean, I have a section I entitled the Machinist Corner. Several articles on there. I happen to be a hobby machinist. I'm very good friends with Boots Overmeyer, the barrel maker, world-renowned barrel maker. He's a personal friend of mine. I've known him for over 25 years. He's written a couple of articles for me that I posted on my website. Very informative. I have an article about heating with wood, an article about knives and bladed edge weapons I entitled Blade 101, all kinds of stuff.
Very good. And this is exactly why you're here. I really believe we have the opportunity to support each other, help each other. And this is why, I really believe, guys, we need to learn from each other. That's the idea. There is so much good information, but we need to be able to share it and to find a way. This is a great way. $5 and change, you can get a very good product, in my opinion, that can give you some very good fundamentals. And, there are many books out there, and that's fine. Get them all if you can. But Tim is a patriot on top. He's a guy that really, if you listen to the show, I'm not saying that we need to agree on everything, but let's put it this way. We are on the same side, and that's great. That's why I wanted to support you, Tim. And I personally myself bought a copy of the book, and I wish you the best with this one. And please, guys, go out, help him out too. And don't forget, now talking about sponsors, if you want to help out the show, there are many ways. You can go to zanna.us, download any of my songs. And then, of course, when you download the songs, you can also, if you want, share the songs. That's fine. Also, another way, if you like coffee, you can go to zannacoffee.com. That's a great way to support the show. And what can I say? There are so many ways. But the point is, this is not the government. Nobody's forcing you to buy anything. This is not like they have to pass a law to make you buy things, okay? We are here out in the free market. We offer you good products, great prices, and I tell you, we need your support. That's all I can say. Listen, Tim, thank you very much. Keep me posted, okay?
I will.
Very good. Okay, guys, don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-Zanna. More news now about guns and some ideas about training. And, of course, more about the Don't Trade on Us, the most affordable military-grade rifle chamber in 223 Wild. Don't go away. Do you want social justice? Now I give you social justice. The Zanna way. Don't trade on us. The Freedom Rifle by Zanna. The most affordable military-grade semi-automatic AR-15 rifle in M4 configuration, chambered in 223 Wild, that can shoot both 5.56 NATO and 223 Remington. 4 minutes of angle for just $499, made in the USA. Get your Freedom Rifle now. We need every law-abiding American armed with knowledge and at least one military rifle, ready to defend good against evil. With every Don't Trade on Us rifle, you will get free parchment replica of the United States Constitution, free digital CD, Don't Trade on Us, free ebook, How to Become a Rifleman, free t-shirt, Slaves Are Never Armed, I Am Not a Slave, free 30 rounds magazine where allowed by the law, free laser engraved ejection port, Don't Trade on Us, for just $499. Go to www.freedomrifle.com, www.freedomrifle.com. Get your Freedom Rifle now. Okay, guys, back into the second hour. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Second hour about guns. You know, I was almost saying hi to Tim. You know, he was ready to leave. Then he started to ask me questions about, first of all, the Don't Trade on Us, the rifle that, it's the rifle, for me, the most affordable military-grade rifle on the market. That it was my creation. And but yeah, the great question. How do you sell the rifle? After all, you are not an FFL dealer. And it's a very good question. Of course, you go to freedomrifle.com. You can see all these questions and answer. You can also, of course, watch how this rifle performs. This is not just the most affordable rifle, military grade, of course, chamber in 223 Wild, that you can shoot 5.56 and 223. But also for me, after the latest test I've been doing, this is the most reliable rifle that I have, an AR-15, and the strongest. I couldn't believe it. You know, we were talking about the Humvee test. But let me bring Tim back in because I want to answer to him so I can answer to him and to every one of you guys in case you have any question. 1 second. Hey, Tim, are you still there?
I'm there, Luca.
So good. I'm glad you asked me those questions because I'm sure that many other people ask the same question. So what is the first question you have? How can people buy the rifle since I am not an FFL guy? Correct?
Yes. Yes. I was wondering about that. How you can sell these rifles and not be a FFL holder.
Yes, very good question.
I think that there even should be federal firearms license dealers. I think anybody should be able to buy a firearm through the mail. But anyway, it is what it is.
Exactly. Let me be sure that the feds or anybody's there is ready to rat me out. I'm not breaking any law, okay? I use selected FFL dealers where I direct my customers to buy the lower. So that's very simple answer. What I do, I created a concept rifle, okay? The rifle is called Don't Trade on Us, the Freedom Rifle by Zanna, okay? It's in this case, we have the first rifle out is the AR-15 semi-automatic in the configuration of M4. And what happens? I created the upper that I do not need any license, and I sell directly the upper. By the way, the upper on the ejection port has a laser engraved Don't Trade on Us with American flag. And the upper, of course, is made in the U.S., okay? It's a company, a factory that works with me directly, and we create this upper just for this project. Now, the upper, as I said, is chambered in 223 Wild. So people, if they want to buy my rifle, it's very simple. They go to freedomrifle.com, and there they can find out the instructions. Step number 1, they contact me. I give them the okay that we have the parts in stock, and they send 2 checks. One directly to my company where they buy the upper. And then I give them also the name to put another check out for the FFL dealer that will legally, following the federal laws, shipping the lower to the FFL dealer of the customer. That's the way it works, okay? Unless you're in town, you can buy directly here in Golden Valley or in Kingman, where I am, okay? I work with several FFL dealers. So that's the bottom line. So you technically have 2 purchases of 2 different items. The upper for me and, of course, the lower. But combined together, with my knowledge and my work, I work very hard to put this together. You pay everything just $499. Let me give you also another important thing. When they get the rifle, they don't trade on us rifle. They don't get just the rifle, and that's already a great price, especially when you can see how he performs, how strong it is. They get also a bunch of free, good, incredible gifts. Number one, they get a copy of the United States Constitution made of parchment, like an historical replica, to remind everybody why we should have a rifle and why I really believe it's important to study the document always. Number two, it's a copy of my digital CD, Don't Trade on Us. It's a $10 value at least, normally on Amazon, and it's free. That's why the rifle gets their name, Don't Trade on Us. It's all political, freedom-oriented songs. Then you have also a little ebook that I almost finished, but it's a work in progress. It's called How to Become a Rifleman. And that ebook, it's also directly downloadable directly to the website, rifletraining.tv. That every week I put videos or new chapters. So it's like a training idea. It is not about just, for example, get the rifle and go. No, we want to give you a rifle, but we also give you training. We need riflemen. And then you get also a T-shirt. Come with a rifle. Slaves are never armed. I'm not a slave. You can see the T-shirt online. Another $15 value. And then there is, of course, the laser engraved ejection port. All of that for $499. This is for me an act of love. Yes, we made a couple dollars, but we work very hard. But for the price, it's not about the money. I really wanted to envision the idea that every working man or woman on paycheck, even in these tough times, they can afford finally a military-grade AR-15 rifle that anybody can shoot, men or women, with a very mild recoil and in a very affordable price. Was I clear on everything, Tim? What do you think? Am I a good salesman?
Yes. Yeah, I think you're very clear. And I'll tell you, considering that I bought my first AR 30 years ago.
Yeah.
In 1986. Now, granted, they were already out. But I will say this. That was when I was living in Florida, and I had a federal firearms license at the time. Okay. I was living in Florida. I was working out of my house, actually my garage. That was my store. And back then, in 86, 87, there were only 4 manufacturers of AR rifles. There was Colt, of course. Mm-hmm. There was Olympic Arms. There was DPMS, which had just started then. Olympic Arms came before DPMS, but Colt obviously was the original. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, the original was Armalite Corporation, but they went out of business in the 60s. And then there was this place up in Maine which used to be called Quality Parts, which is now known as Bushmaster.
Yes.
I bought my first AR on my license for myself, which was perfectly legal at the time, from Quality Parts for $800.
Wow.
I still remember it was $800.
Wow.
For a complete rifle 30 years ago. So if you can buy an AR now, 30 years later, mm-hmm. for basically $500, I think that's a fantastic deal.
Yes.
The other thing you have to understand is that, yeah, there are a ton of manufacturers of ARs out there. Now, most of them are still, like you said, they don't have the polymer lower. I mean, and I think that's great. If you don't have an AR, I think this is an excellent opportunity and you want an AR. I think it's an excellent opportunity to get an AR and to support such a patriotic individual as Luca.
Thank you. And I appreciate it coming from you because, you are the gun guy. You've been around before even I was still in not even high school, elementary school, okay? So that's coming from you. I really appreciate it. But the point exactly is this one. I wanted to give an affordable rifle and, of course, also a reliable rifle. And I didn't go into China junk. I went all U.S. It took me like more than 6 months because, I'm not a gun guy. I'm not a gun manufacturer. I'm nobody, okay? All I do is say, I'm here, I'm a customer, I have some money to spend, I want to do business with you. But it's not that easy when you are nobody even to talk to these big corporations that they do, talking about in the gun business, But finally, I was able to find an American corporation that does guns in the U.S., all U.S. parts, mil specs. And I test the stuff, and they're really good to work. And I'm so glad, we are working together. And now we have a very good product. What I like about the lower, it is really my neighborhood. I mean, E3 Arms, also Plum Crazy Generation 2 is a friend. And I know the guy very well. And I tell you, this product for me is revolutionary. At the beginning, I thought it was just an affordable product. And I thought, okay, it's okay. And I still thought maybe I should still stick to my main rifle in the aluminum regular lower. But then, shooting this rifle, especially the Generation 2, after what we did as a test, this lower now is my number one lower I use when I go out. Because my aluminum lower is not as strong as this one. It cracks. And what it does, I can wash this lower with water after I shoot in the mud. It's amazing, and let it dry. So I tell you guys, I'm a new believer. Not because I'm selling it, it is really because from me. And then I tell you, the upper, it's for me, it's an incredible, honest product, but very accurate. Out of the box, no fancy ammo. Hey, look at the video. I invite everybody, I challenge everybody. Please go to freedomrifle.com. There is a section called Testing the Rifle. And then there is another section called The Lower. There are some YouTube videos. Watch these videos. And you tell me what you think out of $500 rifle. If this is not something that when you close your eyes, and I don't tell you the price, this could be easily at least double the money, easily. So I hope you can go watch the movie. Go ahead, please. Go with the question.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to presume that you have just a standard trigger in it, right? Like the single stage typical trigger for an AR, right?
Yes, it's a standard trigger, but it's not really standard because it's made of polymer. So it is a military spec trigger, nothing different from any other military grade trigger, but it's made of polymer. And of course, we have also a video about that, and you can also replace it with a military spec trigger.
The only suggestion I have is, see here, based upon my over 40 years experience of shooting, I prefer a two-stage trigger. And that's the one thing that I recommend anybody with an AR, because the AR originally came with a single-stage trigger. They decided to do that. Stoner decided to do that when he designed the rifle. But I strongly recommend having a two-stage trigger, because it's like I covered triggers in detail in my third book. And one reason why I like a two-stage trigger, especially on a rifle, I even some on most of my bolt-action rifles, particularly my bolt-action rifles that I use for match shooting, I always replace the trigger, the factory trigger. Like Remington bolt-action rifles, I have a single-stage trigger, and I always replace them with a two-stage match trigger. But I strongly recommend replacing any AR trigger with a two-stage trigger. And there are a few manufacturers out there of two-stage triggers, the Gaselli being the best, but they are rather pricey. The cheapest Gaselli two-stage trigger for the AR is $219.
Wow.
But anyway, go up from there. I think the most expensive one is like $329.
Wow, that's
but it's a fully adjustable. It's a fully adjustable two-stage trigger. But Gaselli specializes in match quality AR triggers. But what I was getting at was I look at a two-stage trigger as the last safety on a rifle. I am very, very safety conscious when it comes to firearms, partly due, in fact, to the fact that I've been shot before, accidentally. And so I'm very safety conscious when it comes to firearms, and that's the reason why I recommend having a two-stage trigger on virtually any rifle if it's available, especially on ARs, because like I said, I want to say there's 3 other manufacturers of maybe 3 or 4 other companies manufacturing two-stage triggers, aftermarket triggers for the AR. And like I said, the Giuseppe being the best. Unfortunately, the guy who originally designed the original two-stage trigger for the AR, personal friend of mine lives here in Wisconsin. His triggers are no longer available, and I have a couple of triggers in my ARs.
I didn't know that. What is the name of this guy? I'm just curious.
Charlie Milazzo.
Okay.
Was his name.
Okay,
Charlie Milazzo was another machinist, a friend of mine, personal friend. He worked for Jack Krieger, the barrel maker, who's up in Germantown, who also happens to be a friend of mine also. I've known Jack for almost as long as I've known Boots Overmeyer, for over 25 years. I've shot with Jack also. Jack doesn't shoot much anymore. But as a matter of fact, I'd like to say this, he did buy both of my books on reloading, and his review was posted on my website.
Wow, that's very good. Going back to the trigger,
anyway,
let me just stop you 1 second. The trigger, you're right. I mean, if you want some match situation or whatever, this is like, of course, it's a military-grade rifle, but at the price, it wouldn't not even justify the idea, because even the cheapest two-stage trigger probably is going to be a third of the cost of the rifle. But talking about trigger, though, I must tell you something. At the beginning, when I was shooting this, before I was shooting this rifle, I thought, hey, this is a trigger made of polymer. I mean, what the heck? How's it going to work compared to my other triggers from my Bushmaster or Armalite? This is one of the faster trigger and so crisp for something that I couldn't believe it, out of the box. And people can say, you want to go into the match ammo, that's fine, you can do really match stuff. But with the regular cheap Wolf or Brown Bear in 223, out of the box, nothing, really doing nothing, just with iron sight, I can achieve easy at 25 yards, 25 meters, 4 minutes of angle, putting groups in less than 1 square inch. I say less. Some groups, they all get together, one inside each other, with prone position, no benches, just with the USGI sling that we were talking about. And I am not such an incredible shooter. I'm okay. I'm a qualified rifleman, but I'm not a competition guy. My point is, this rifle with this trigger right now, I was impressed. I am impressed about it. And then when I go into fast shooting, for example, the 3 rounds of fast shooting burst, I have people at the range that lead maybe newbie in the guns. They thought I had some sort of selective fire weapon. It's so fast. I'm very impressed. I'm a new believer, and I'm not even saying that because of this rifle. But of course, if you are into matches like yourself and you got the budget, you can upgrade your rifle. When I buy a rifle like this, though, I must be honest, I don't want to put anything extra. I like to keep it as a $499, $500, and this is your rifle that is in the back of your car or your truck, and it's affordable. You're not gonna feel like, oh my God, it fell on the ground, it scratched. It doesn't even scratch really on the lower. It's made of polymer. And the point is the less of a price of a gun. Tim, go ahead.
For keeping in your trunk, and I think it's, like I said, I think it's great. You don't have to worry that much about it. Sure.
Right now with this one, I go to work with this one. I work, of course, in my own property, but normally I like to every day when I pick up a rifle for the morning. This is my favorite rifle. When I go to town, and if I want to carry an AR-15 platform, This is my favorite rifle. I have a holster, like a cowboy holster, and there is a strap. I can put it behind my back. And normally when I go shopping or whatever, I go with my rifle. I mean, of course, I got my gun on me, or is it in the front of my truck? Of course, we follow Arizona laws. This is okay. But my point is, I'm a new believer, and I say, guys, I don't really, it is not even about selling the rifle anymore. I personally thank Mr. Ed Mack, the creator, the inventor of this polymer lower, that for me is one of the most revolutionary thing and most affordable thing that really revolution the market of these weapons and makes it available to everybody. That's pretty much. But it's not just about price. It's about performance. I mean, I want your opinion, Tim. You're a guy, you've seen a lot of things more than I did. I want you to watch that video on freedomrifle.com where you can see this Humvee, 11,000 pounds Humvee, running over 3 lowers on the asphalt with no any type of scratches. And I want you to know if that's something normal happens with any lower, you can tell me more about that, what you think next time, okay?
Okay, I will.
Very good, Lista. Let me go because I have to bring some news and I have to talk about some other topics. But thank you for asking me those questions. And I hope everybody understands now that I am not an FFL dealer, but I'm not breaking any law. If you want to buy the Freedom Rifle, don't trade on us. Go to freedomrifle.com and you will see how to buy the rifle just for $199. And maybe, who knows, Tim, maybe one day I hope you can get one too. I appreciate it.
Maybe, Luca.
Thank you. And say hi to your lady. I appreciate it, okay? Okay, guys, don't go away. Little bit of break and we come back. In this world where everything seems to be going sideways, when you need things set straight, Zanna Coffee Straight Shot Espresso. Start your day with a bang. The best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade, certified, sustainable, organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Don't be cheap. You deserve the best. Get Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. Here we go, guys. This is luca-zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States FM network. We are here in Havasu City. Kind of warm day. But you know what? I'm inside the store, exactly Havasu Guns on 2115. Let's see if I say it right. I always distort these names. McCulloch Boulevard. Okay,
that's pretty good.
Pretty good. Sweet one. I'm getting almost an Anglo accent here. Anyway, the bottom line is here. I'm very excited because, you know, my mission is to spread the gospel of gun ownership. Okay, so the idea was to create a product, the most affordable military-grade rifle, chamber in 5.56 and 223. Technically, it's chamber in 223 wild, but you can shoot both calibers. That's the idea. And it's called the rifle Don't Tread on Us. So I'm very excited because I'm receiving great feedback from, of course, customers and also from people who wants to distribute the rifle. Right now I am exactly at the Havasu Guns, and I'm here with my friend Chris, that I've been knowing Chris for probably, 7 years. We were just talking before. And, of course, he's one of the guys here that is take care of the customers, and I think he's the manager. You're the manager, Chris?
Well, we're all kind of the manager here.
Okay. But anyway, you're here. You take care of people. That's the most important thing. Chris, first of all, what's going on in Havasu Guns today?
Going on in Havasu Guns today is we've got customers coming in and out, and believe it or not, the number one selling firearm in this store is the AR-15. The number one selling ammunition in this store is 5.56 and 223. And then you come along with the Don't Tread on Us gun. The price on this gun, for the quality of this gun, you can't beat it anyway.
Let's remind, the listeners know it's exactly retail $499. How much is the price right now of a Glock Generation 4, for example?
About $140 more than that.
Wow. So, it's more affordable than a Glock. And you have a military-grade rifle that is also very accurate. And I want to say something. Chris, you shoot a lot yourself, and you have tested different rifles. You never shot this rifle, but I know you watch some of my videos. What do you think about the level of accuracy you can get out of the box with just, a sling?
Actually, I was at Shots Ranch this past weekend, and I had a whole bunch of students up there. A couple of them had this rifle.
Wow.
And I was very, very impressed with 100-yard accuracy on this rifle.
I need to find out who they are, because it's now like I feel like almost like friends or some sort of, relatives to mine, because when they got something that is for me like, I don't know, it's a lot of love. I put this rifle together, this concept probably took me like 8 months at least. And whenever, there is also a little personal letter. Even I never probably will meet some of these customers, but I feel like, they have a part of me.
Of you.
Yes. So I'm always curious to see how did you find it, how did you buy, where did you buy it, and more important, how it's going, And very good. So listed. And you're going to have a chance pretty soon, hopefully, I would like to have your feedback, honestly. I have a rifle that I shoot as a test every Sunday in Mohave County. Where do you go shooting around here normally?
I'm normally shooting every weekend out at the Lake Havasu Sportsman's Club here in Lake Havasu City.
Okay.
I do travel up to Kingman occasionally, and like I said, out to Shots Ranch. Those are my 3 favorite spots.
Okay, next time probably what I should do is this. I should join this club too, because I like to come. Maybe when you have a few customers from Havasu, I like to come. Maybe we can shoot together. And if you ever come to, meanwhile, to Kingman, just give me a call, and I would like you to test my rifle.
Absolutely, I'd love that. Absolutely. Oh, and by the way, it's not just a rifle that you get when you purchase this. You get an all-American made product, which is something that is almost unheard of, but you're also getting other products as well. It comes with a 30-round magazine.
USGI magazine. That is tested, works great.
Yeah, and today when you purchase a lot of rifles, some of them don't even come with the mag. You've got to purchase that extra, so that's cool. You get the awesome T-shirt that you produced.
Yes,
which
my
is very
production.
cool. I really love these T-shirts. They say, slaves are never armed, I'm not a slave. Love that. Love that.
I know, guys, especially for us, coming from Europe, I understand every word I wrote, okay?
Yeah, and people have got to be kind of mixed up right now because they've got your accent and my accent they're listening to. They're probably like, wait, did I tune in an overseas radio station? What's going on? The Don't Tread on Us.
There you get a CD, the digital CD.
Oh, yeah, the digital CD. I got that over here too.
Don't Tread on Us. Normally it's on Amazon for $12.99 or $10.99, depends on the special.
You get a free download on it.
Yes, free, complete, all the CD there. Let me see how many tracks. I always forget. I put this stuff together.
Yeah, you just produced it. Yeah. What do you know?
I wrote the songs and I forget even the name of my songs. 21 tracks. Here we go.
When you come into the store, you'll see a flyer for this whole thing, and it gives you a complete rundown on what the firearms all about.
And then the ebook. You know, there is a password that people can have when they receive the special letter that comes with the rifle. It's a personal letter. There are 2 magic passwords. One is, of course, to download the CD, and then there is one to download exactly the ebook, How to Become a Rifleman. And I want to be clear, I'm not an instructor, I'm just a professional student, I call myself. But I did, I try to always to push myself to do classes and, study and try to practice, of course. And whatever I learned, I put it out for you guys. This basic book, it's about how to become a rifleman. It means shoot for marksmanship, 4 minutes of angle with any rifle from the 3 basic, or let's say even 4 basic military positions: standing, sitting, prone, and kneeling, without benches, just with your sling. And means translating in physical, material sides. 4 minutes of angle means that 25 meters you must put your group within 1 square inch, and that's the rifleman standard that we want to achieve.
Now, the most important thing, and I think everybody who owns a firearm should have a copy, and it's on parchment paper, which just sets it off really nice, is, well...
It's nice, I tell you. It took me like probably 3 months just to find where I want the best I didn't want just to get a booklet Constitution. I wanted to give somebody that something they can display.
The copy of the Constitution on parchment paper should be in every home in America, as far as I'm concerned, and you get one when you purchase this rifle.
Yes, and the final thing, this is a flat top. That means the upper, it's you can put every type of optic or every type of rear sight you want. But because I wanted to give you something ready to go, you have a very good quality A2 handle rear sight that I tell you, once it's zero in, it stays there. And I just did last Sunday a chapter and also a video that I'm going to put out tomorrow, how to zero this rifle at 25 meters for the 300 meters and 25 meters.
And if you're like me, your eyesight's not as good as it used to be, you can pop that A2 carry handle off and put some kind of scope on it.
Yes, exactly. So it's all included. You're ready to go. All you got to get is a sling. And I'm sure probably your store can sell a sling.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Let's give one more time, if you have a website also, or the address, how people can come here in Havasu and find your store.
It's pretty simple. We're at Havasu Guns, 2115 McCulloch Boulevard, Suite 1. Our phone number is 928-302-1991. We're open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Wow.
Stop by and see us. There's always somebody here and we're willing to help.
Very good. Thank you very much, Chris. Nice seeing you, and hope I see you again on the range, okay? Thank
Anytime.
you. Thank you.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Luca-Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Luca-Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States.FM network.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
Here we go, guys. This is luca-zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. This is the hour about love. And, I always say, what is the most important form of love we can have? Loving each other, love our neighbors. Things are happening in this country and also around the world, not just in America. If you're now standing for the truth, or if you stand at least against this centralized global government that is in plain force right now, in plain action, try to completely confiscate private properties and destroy our rights, you are a target. We know very well. People used to laugh at us a few years ago. Now it's on the open. Official government documents, not just from the American government, but also around the world. If you oppose socialism, if you oppose a global government, if you are against the United Nations, if you are for sovereignty, if you believe that your nation is supposed to have borders, if you're a Christian, if you are gun owners, yeah, that's my point. We're on target. Now, I've been in touch the last few months with different people, several people. Many of them, they're all right now sitting in prison, waiting for really serious sentences. We're talking about 100 years for conspiracies I already talked to you about many of them. We had people from the Bandits, people from the Bandit standoff. We had people from the Oregon. I don't even want to call it standoff. That was a peaceful, let's say, demonstration of rights. The peaceful way to say, hey, federal government, read the Constitution. You're infringing on our rights. You're abusing your powers. Okay, nobody got hurt. Nobody got shot. Anyway, the point is not even that now. The point is talking about love. We got to be without fear. We got to be fearless to try to talk about things that they're happening to people that they are close to us. Now, I don't know everything. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge, not because I believe in judges. The federal judges, unfortunately, they are just the executioners paid by the state. So I don't have trust in them, unfortunately. But all I know that I've been in touch with many of these people, and I know that they never committed any crime before. At least most of them, they are completely law-abiding citizens, the people that I interact with. And now they're facing all these very serious sentences. Some of these people, they're members of the media. That's very disturbing, because these strange coincidences start to happen now. If you're part of an independent media and talking about things that they don't want to hear it, you are pretty much a target. Now, specifically, I had a gentleman that has been on my show many times. And very sadly, just 3 days before he got arrested, and now we will go more how it happened, by federal agents, he called me. And he wanted to be back. He has some information. He's been following all the events since day one, what happened and what's been happening in Oregon during this big ordeal with the Bandits, the Oregon, the BLM, and everything else. So it's been a very important part to connect the dots of what has been going on there. And I feel very bad because 3 days before I got this phone call, we were calling, he called me, I was in my kitchen, and said, Mike, what's going on? I got information, I got new updates and things like that. I said, okay, that's great, let's get together on Friday. And Friday he got arrested. And that was a few weeks ago. I've been waiting. As I said, I don't know all the events. Mistakes can be done. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that just because you speak with me and we believe in the same cause, we're all perfect. If there are some federal laws, even I don't agree, even I think they are completely wrong and unconstitutional, and then we will go more into details, they're still laws. Even, of course, for me, they should be null and void. But that's not the point. The point is now, this man is rotting in jail. And I want to know why he does not even have a chance to get out with some sort of a bond. Nobody got harmed. This guy is not a fly risk. His name is Michael-Emery from the Voice of Idaho News. Very important independent news that has been doing a great job in Idaho to broadcast news. And, normally I would talk with his wife, but she told me that she doesn't feel like to talk on the radio. I respect that. So I have a friend here that she's very good and she's been following all this information. So I really want to bring her on. I'm sorry if today I feel a little bit tired or exhausted. I've been shooting at 132 degrees in the desert. I've been testing the rifle today. So that's pretty much why. If you find me a little bit slow, that's why. Anyway, Vicky, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, sorry for my rant, but I wanted just to give you a short story of what's going on. Your name is Vicky Davis, right, Vicky?
Yes, and I'm the what you might call the lead writer and researcher for TBOI News. Most of the articles that you see on TBOI News, I wrote. So
very good, and I really appreciate it. You do a great job, by the way. I read your news, and I think it's a great, very important way to create independent media. And I invite everybody else in their wherever they live. You're working, you create this for the Idaho News. But, every state, every community should have some sort of a service like you do. So really, thank you very much. Now, I also know that you're pretty much updated on all the situation of what happened to Michael-Emery. For many of my listeners, maybe they don't know what happened to him. I would like to give the short story, if you can. Please, exactly, out of the blue, he was covering the news, and then, boom, he was taken. Can you give exactly the date, if you can, who took him, and under which charges, and then we'll go from there?
Well, the date of that the search warrant was executed was May 6th. and they executed the search warrant and arrested Michael, and because he had a parts kit. It was not a fully functioning machine gun, but I have to explain that Michael was a foreign weapons specialist, and he loved guns, loved to talk about guns, which I'm sure you know because you like guns too.
Yes. He's been talking about guns on my show many times. Yes.
Yeah. So what he had was a parts kit that had two pieces. Did not have a stock. It didn't have a tripod. It didn't have a belt, to feed the bullets, and he didn't have any bullets.
Okay.
So basically, it was just a piece of steel that could be turned into a machine gun by an expert, which Michael was. But what Michael was trying to do with the media was to convey the message, because things have gone so horribly wrong in this country. And Michael saw the same thing happen in third world countries where he learned his trade and he worked in this kind of business. He saw the same things happening in this country that he saw happen in third world countries. And he wanted to stop it. And the way you stop it is through public information, providing information to the public. And most people who, are the couch lizards who sit on their couch and watch the TV, they have no idea that our government is paying our media, under the guise of education. So we have a controlled media just like the Soviet Union.
Yes.
So people are not getting the information that they need to make informed decisions. And so what Michael's idea was to become alternate media and to organize people to become their own media.
Now, let me ask you something. So the charges, because I know there was a very big display of force. I mean, for what I read on the news, there were FBI agents, coming like Bin Laden was in town. Of course, Bin Laden was part, the story. I don't know if you know, but I really believe that's a sham. But the point is, that was serious. They came after him and his wife like they were Bonnie and Clyde. I mean, the way they arrest them, the way they executed this arrest. This guy has not, that I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know any type of a serious criminal record. And all he's been doing is been peacefully exercising his First Amendment record, doing the news on the open. He wasn't hiding. He was there in front of everybody doing his duty and also his right, exercising his right as an American. So that's the point. They treat him like he was a serious criminal. And now you tell me, of course, don't get me wrong, 1934 National Firearm Act, I think is a joke, just because the government said that now they decide how many inches your barrel can be. Or like, for example, tomorrow the government can say how many rounds your gun can, your magazine can have. You become a felon overnight. I mean, even if they want to play that game, that we still need to establish really if it was really done wrong. Because, according to the news, that's why I don't trust any of the official news. The report was that this gun was almost ready to fight on his own, okay? This machine gun. And, I also want to be fair. I read that Mike said something in a statement that he signed to the FBI. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I read through the news, that somehow he confessed something that was a machine gun. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you, because, they can say on the newspaper whatever they want. I don't know. But even if it was true, that a piece of metal with some expert hands, it could become a machine gun. Nobody got killed. My point, nobody got killed. There was no robbery. There was no really harm. There was no victim yet, okay? So now the way that this man is still sitting in jail without bail, am I right or wrong? Go ahead.
You're right. He is sitting in jail. But the thing is that I'm getting feedback here.
Okay, let's find out why. Let's see. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I listen you clear. I can hear you clear. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm still okay. I'm still getting feedback. There's kind of a delay.
Who knows?
But maybe I'll just try to proceed.
Yeah, go ahead. Continue, please.
Okay. The reason why they treated Michael as if they were arresting Al Capone was because Michael was involved in a case in Tennessee in 1999 in which he was working with the ATF and he infiltrated a drug ring. And when he testified in court, he testified as to his expertise as a foreign weapons specialist, as a weapons specialist.
Okay.
And, but in that case, Michael was not a defendant. He was not on trial.
Yeah.
He didn't even have an attorney. He was testifying for the government.
Wow.
Well, what Les Zates did, who is the lead reporter for Oregon Live, I guess it is, the Oregon Times or whatever, the local media in rural Oregon. He wrote articles that made it seem like Michael was an absolute monster.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way you
using the testimony from that old case. So he just lied unbelievably. Now, Michael does not have a record. He has never done anything.
Yeah.
He's 54 years old, which is past the age, when men are hot-headed and do stupid things. That was not Michael. But what Les Zates did not want was for Michael to set up a competing media operation. Because Les Zates is involved in all kinds of shady deals, getting grants from the federal government for environmental cleanup and stuff. I mean, the guy has property that is, Les Zates, his brother, and his wife, Scotta Callister, they have property, large amounts of property that's really prime property. And they are drawing grant money from the federal government. Les Zates is a grant writer.
Wow.
And so they did not want another competing media operation in that area because it would expose what Les Zates is doing.
Wow.
Okay.
This is very serious. I mean, my point now, even for people that, let's say, do not believe in what we believe and that they may think the BLM is great and the federal government must control all our land and the Constitution is just nothing. The point is, now this can happen to any one of us. There is a point that there is no more due process. Seriously. I mean, we have completely the destruction of the Bill of Rights. The fact that we can face consequences of charges that they really don't even fit the crime that doesn't exist. Even if Mike, for example, really did something wrong with this sort of having a part of a machine gun that could have been set up as a machine gun. I mean, we're talking about there is no victim. There is no really anybody harmed. And this guy, as you said, has no previous criminal record. Okay, he's not like a professional criminal. So now to keep treating him like this sort of a danger number one, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's in isolation too. I have no idea. But I know all the other political dissidents, that they were at the Bundys or they were in Oregon, they were being tortured almost 30, 40, 50 days in isolation. Even if you are a child rapist, you do that, you get that treatment. So this is very serious. Did you have a chance to talk to him lately?
Yes, I talk to Michael just about every day.
Where is he?
I've been working on a motion for the court. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a legal aid or anything like that, but I am a researcher, and so I have been working on a motion, and so I've been talking to him about every day, and I haven't written any articles about Michael's status because I wasn't sure if it was it would hurt him or help him. And I didn't want to do anything to hurt him. But in the past day and a half, I've received information that lets me know I really absolutely must write articles.
Tell us everything. Please, go ahead.
Uh-huh.
If you want to be on record something important, go ahead.
Well, it's a longer story than what I can do on the radio.
Okay.
But I am writing a couple of articles, and I will tell everything in those articles. But Michael should not be in jail.
Okay.
Let's say. But fortunately, he is not in isolation. He's in Lane County Corrections, which is a county jail. But at the pretrial hearing, the prosecutor used all the information directly from Les Zates' articles, and which include testimony of that old case. And even the prosecutor, he was dishonest in his presentation to the judge. He committed a fraud upon the court because he presented the information in that case as if Michael was a defendant.
Wow.
And he was not a defendant. So you might say it would be correct to say that Michael is in jail not because of his past history, not because of what he did, but because of what he knows, what he knows how to do.
Wow.
And
so now knowledge is a crime. I mean, I may be learning things from books, and I can learn a lot of things, and it can become, let's say, some sort of a pre-crime. Like they can put you in jail for things that you may do just because you know how to do it, not because you've done it. Wow.
Well, right. And everything that Michael learned, he learned while working for the government. I mean, you don't become a foreign weapons specialist by, working for some random corporation somewhere. You learn that when you're working for the government, either directly or on contract.
Wow.
And so,
what is next now? What is the next event in the, let's say, in the court date that's going to be important for Michael?
Okay. Well, there was just a hearing on the 24th. That was the release, the pretrial release hearing. And because of the testimony of the prosecutor, or the argument of the prosecutor, and Michael's so-called defense attorney, his limp-wristed non-defense of Michael, they decided to detain Michael and not let him out. So his next hearing is on July 11th.
Wow, July 11th. Okay, I mean, why is Rod in there? I mean, that's very much disturbing that, I know through the news that people who did very heinous crimes, like, raping, like, violence on others, with the real victims, they got bonds. They got out, okay? I mean, if you do a bank robbery, you can get out on bond, for God's sake, if you got the money. I mean, this is very, very serious and sad, and this is exactly why, not only because I've been having Mike many times on the show, I wanted to know some updates, because this is exactly the purpose of the show. We are living right now already in a soft, no more really soft anymore, tyranny. It is already martial law. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights is null and void. When you see that the state can throw you in jail just because they feel like it, and there is no more the due process, the basic, defense, let's say check and balance between what the government can do and cannot do. The National Defense Authorization Act, I'm never going to get tired to say this over and over, in 2012, that was passed by Obama in Congress, signed by Obama and, of course, worked by Congress, it is not a conspiracy. And now maybe they want to still keep this on the open, but technically they don't even need this anymore. They can detain you indefinitely just because they don't like your smell, just because they don't like your face, just because they don't like your ideas, just because you're suspected. And I remind you the word suspected to be a terrorist. And terrorist, what does it mean today? We know very well, according to the federal government, if you're a Christian, if you don't believe in the globalism, you don't believe in the New World Order, if you believe in private property, you become if you're a veteran, of course, you're top of the list. Terrorist, domestic terrorist. That's what's happening right now. Now, what can we do to help Mike? Is there any way we can do some help here from humble little people? Maybe, I don't know, sending a phone call, maybe sending a little donation. Any way we can do something?
If people want to donate, they can send money, for Michael's commissary or telephone, and or they can send a donation to Becky, and she will make sure that the money goes to his commissary or telephone account.
Is there a website or something that we can find out more details?
I will be posting. Becky just got a PayPal account, and but I haven't had the chance yet to write an article to post it up on TBOI News. But I will do that.
Okay.
I'll do that tonight, as a matter of fact.
Very good. And as you can, I invite people to go to lovegunsfreedom.com, lovegunsfreedom.com. I did it in the past. I did it for everybody of these political prisoners. They're in jail and waiting for trial. Hopefully they're going to get a fair trial, I hope. Meanwhile, even just for the basic things, like you said, even just to have a little money to make a phone call or maybe to buy some decent food because, not exactly they get good food there. And they are pretty much with the regular jail population. Even if you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, that's not the case. They treat you already like you're scum. So we got to do what we can. I will put a post on lovegunsfreedom.com, the link as I have it, to try to, as I said, find out more about Michael. You probably, if you're a listener, you already know a lot about his interviews. But now, I think you should Google him and try to find out, especially through the Voice of Idaho News. There's a lot of great articles. And when you have your new article out, send this to me, please. I will post it also on Facebook. And when people needs to be involved, because I understand some of you may say, oh, this is not happening to me. Guess what? Next time could be probably maybe your daughter, your son, or yourself. So you better start doing something.
Yeah, absolutely. You are so right. Everybody is at risk, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Because this government has no respect for our Constitution. They have no respect for our laws, and they have absolutely zero respect for the American people.
Well, this is, I tell you, I don't even think anymore this is our government anymore. This is the government of foreign corporations and globalist bankers, because now we know very well, and their plan is on the open. All this drama with the BLM tried to, and successfully, not just trying to confiscate property from American people that were using it or even owning it. It is part of this plan. And the plan is that Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030, it is in full action. So what they want now and why, they're not trying to save the little monkeys or the crickets or anything. It's not about even that. Even that would be futuristic, it would be ridiculous. But the point is they want to keep this American land that never in the Constitution was written that's supposed to be under the federal control, especially of a tyrannical president that just with a stroke of a pen can get millions of acres, like a little dictator from Kenya that he is. Never happened. We have this reality now. And the point is we have to start to understand that we are under occupation. And this is no more the land of the free, and it's our duty to take it back. And how we do that, we got to, first of all, realize, admit it, we have a problem. We are no more what we used to be. And how we take it back, we got to study our rights. There are a few thousand words. It's a small booklet, but it's so important. The Constitution is not just to put it on the wall. It's to understand that if you do not know your rights, you have no rights. That's the bottom line. And the first thing we got to understand that they are the criminals, they are the trespassers, these people, they're using not more the rule of law, but the rule of who has the bigger guns. And now they think they have all the guns, almost. So that's the point. That's why we got to stop this. And we got to educate ourselves, and we got to stand behind our fellow Americans. Now, I want to give you the floor, the last thing, whatever you want to say about Michael or about the Voice of Idaho, you got the floor.
Okay, well, Michael, I've known Michael for a couple of years, and we worked very closely on TBOI News. And Michael is a good man. He's a very kind man, and he cares. He cares so much about this country and the future of this country. And I wish that people cared only half as much as Michael does, because if they did, they'd get off their couch and actually do something to save this country. And if they don't, the future for their children and their grandchildren is grim beyond what I can describe. I just saw a ceremony that was done in Europe for dignitaries in Europe of the opening of the tunnel under the Swiss Alps.
Yeah,
and this ceremony was satanic. And I'm asking everybody, go find that ceremony and watch it, because that is what your world is becoming. They call it the opening of the gates of hell.
Yep.
And that's what's happening. The gates of hell are opening.
Yes.
And
I'm glad you brought it up, because I was going to talk today about it a little bit briefly. You're very well right. This is not more about politics. This is not more about little corruption, or some politicians try to get more than they need to get. This is about, on the open right now, it's a battle between good and evil. That normally this battle was another dimension. Now it's happening really in our dimension, planet Earth. Now, how do they operate? The forces of evil, they are using what normally in this reality we face. Laws, government, politicians. I mean, what you said, that this big event of this celebration of this, huge, probably the biggest and most expensive tunnel crossing, part of Switzerland with the rest of Europe. That was an event with the biggest, numbers of European elected or selected public servants, or whatever you want to call leaders. Okay, this is not just some private meeting that people, they are wearing horns and they like to worship Beelzebub. That would be bad enough, but that's their business. No, these people, they're supposed to be in charge of our tax dollars, in charge of our decision. So these people that they're skating, they represent governments, and they control the powers in the government. They sold out to the devil. When you watch the video, it's very clear. You are selling to the devil. There is no halfway. You want to cut it down. Watch it, people. And that's the point. That's why it's coming almost to a biblical prophecy. I'm not trying to preach because I'm a sinner, but the reality is this is coming down to a level that we're going to be persecuted. Everybody who opposes this global government, New World Order, today is June the 5th, 2016. If in the future, in the next few years, you listen to this broadcast, I hope we were wrong, but unfortunately it's happening. So there's no way to go back. We got to face it. We got to have faith, help each other. That's why this show is called Love, Guns, and Freedom. Love is the biggest weapon. Love means that you are not afraid to stand for the truth, to stand for our fellow humans, to stand for your beliefs. That's the weapon, number one, love and knowledge. And then, of course, we need guns to defend our freedom, too, but that's another story. Listen, I want to thank you for your courage, for everything you're doing, and I wish the best for Michael. All I can do now is just try to spread his message out. As I said, these are roaches. They're evil little roaches. They like to operate in the darkness, and they try to take us one by one, and hopefully nobody else knows. Like, when you got a pack of coyotes, they go come at night, and they go after one sheep at a time. That's why they want to keep the rest of the herd calm. Yes, we got to wake up and scream and yell. So let's say also start to make phone calls if we can, find out exactly where Michael, in which prison he is, and hopefully with your article we can get more information, phone numbers. the prosecutor, and everybody else, and the judge, and say, you know what, you scum, we are watching you. Okay, that's the bottom line. We are watching you. You know, maybe a few thousands today, but we may become more millions, hopefully pretty soon. I better go, otherwise I get my pressure high. Listen, I want to thank you again, and keep me posted as you have more news, okay?
I sure will. Thank you, Luca.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Guys, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-zanna. I got to jump in the jacuzzi. I'm really getting warm. As I said, I was for a couple hours under 133 degrees doing the testing the Don't Tread on Us rifle, and I love it. But, you know, I'm a human being. I'm not made of steel yet. Probably I would melt it. Anyway, and these topics really wear me down, you know, because it breaks my heart. I've been talking to Mike for almost 1 year more. And to see him gone now, this is not good. Because I know any one of us could be the next. Seriously, this is no way to live life. You know, just because we exercise our First Amendment, just because maybe you have a piece of metal sitting in your garage that maybe with few hours of work can become a machine gun. Yeah, I can get a machine gun out of a car if I have to. I mean, the point is, even if you committed this sort of infringement on this federal law, nobody got harmed. Like tomorrow, they can put you in jail in many states already, like California, just because you have 11 rounds instead of 10, rather than 10 in that magazine. How evil you are. With 10, you're good. You're a good slave. But with 11 rounds in that magazine, you become a felon. Think about it, how much tyranny already we have. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Let me jump in the jacuzzi. I'll talk to you from there. Don't go away. In this world, where everything seems to be going sideways, when you need things set straight, Zanna Coffee Straight Shot Espresso. Start your day with a bang. The best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade, certified, sustainable, organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Don't be cheap. You deserve the best. Get Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. Okay, guys, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM. I am just back from Lake Havasu City. I don't even think it's Arizona. I think it's hell. 132 degrees under the sun, maybe even 133. And I've been shooting the Don't Tread on Us rifle with my friend Chris from Havasu Guns. Cold beer. Great. Anyway, it was a great experience. I mean, shooting a rifle at that type of extreme temperature, I mean, and to see how it performs, that's very important. I've been shooting different type of rounds, and of course, I learned something about it. First of all, I want to say, here we go. I have a beautiful Stella Artois beer, really good stuff. And also, I have some great Black Bridge Brewery beer from Kingman. Where, by the way, you can also buy the Zanna coffee there in Kingman at the Black Bridge Brewery. Anyway, let me have a sip because I'm thirsty, man. 1 sec. That was good. All right. By the way, don't drink a cold beer after you come back from a 130 degrees. First, you need to, let's say, get your body used to. Okay, so I went already through warm water. Anyway, so the point is what I learned today from this shooting experience, that the Don't Tread on Us rifle performs greatly, but you need to watch the ammunition. Normally, I've been shooting steel case ammo with no problems, like for example the Wolf or the Brown Bear. Normally when everything below 100 degrees, they are fine. Nope, really no jams. They cycle perfectly. But today, at 132 degrees, we started to have some problems with the extraction because the heat expands the case too much and the lacquering, this sort of a special almost substance that try to keep the gun, their ammunition fluid, or at least, smooth, start to melt. So we have a couple of problems with destruction, but when you use brass case, 5.56 or 223, they are great. So I'm very impressed with the rifle. Of course, you have to wear gloves, because 133 degrees, I'm telling you, your hands start to really burn. So that was an incredible experience. Now, this is the hour about love. I don't want to talk too much about guns right now. That's why I'm having a beer. And, by the way, I'm going to broadcasting probably from my jacuzzi. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to put now a little song, and I want to just relax and share a couple news while I'm drinking my beer and talk to you from my jacuzzi. I know this is not really exactly the typical radio show, but normally everything comes and go from the studio. No, I like to be in different places. Like, for example, right now I'm in my kitchen, and I'm enjoying my beer, beautiful cold beer that is so good, especially after you shoot all day at 133 degrees. Beer is the way to go. And then, of course, I'm going to finish this broadcast today from my beautiful jacuzzi, okay? So we can talk a little bit, and we'll talk about love, news, and different things. Now, a little song, and you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Don't go away. Okay, guys, here I am. Oh, if you can hear the noise of the water, yes, this is real water. This is not the sound effects. Oh my gosh, I am in my place of meditation, my jacuzzi. I have two places there I like very much to meditate, and normally where I write songs or think about ideas, projects. One is here in my indoor little jacuzzi area. And then he's on top of a hill, one of my favorite places in Arizona, where I have my place, my little retreat, and I have on top of my hill this cast iron bathtub. That, for me, it's even better than the jacuzzi. I love it, by the way. And it's facing the immense, beautiful valley of green and trees and animals and deers and coyotes and crows. I mean, it's so beautiful that. Anyway, when I'm indoor, this is the place. And I tell you, it's a great place because after all, this show, as I said, is called Love, Guns, and Freedom. It is not just about always running and thinking about. It's also about stopping for a moment, slowing down, try to recuperate energy to be able to fight another day. Otherwise, we completely consume ourselves. So much going on. This is so amazing how much going on. You know, I said, we had an interview before with this guest regarding talking about Michael-Emery, the voice of Idaho, right now rotting in this jail. And many other people like him, they're facing hundreds of years in prison, federal prison, for conspiracy. I mean, this show is a conspiracy if you think about it, just because we try to expose the corruption of this global government, and corrupted politicians try to destroy our republic. That's a conspiracy right there against their evil. That's what it's about. It's a battle between good and evil. And you will face this many times in your life, and maybe even in your day. And it's up to you. I'm not going to tell you when you need to pick up a fight or not. But the point is, we have to decide now. Even just standing up, even just speaking up, that's the thing we should do, in my opinion. We cannot let this happen to others, because otherwise we're going to be the others pretty soon. So anyway, in this place, this humble place that for me is my little meditation place, I don't go to Hawaii, I don't go anymore, I don't travel, I don't even like to cross the state line. But you know what, I've been around the world before I came to America. I've seen more than I wanted to see, more than I probably needed to see. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. I enjoy it because it gave me the opportunity to open my mind, to realize that this is the place where I want to stay. And I'm not here because I didn't see the rest. No, I've seen everything else, at least a lot. And I tell you, even with all the imperfections that we have in this country, because it's been taken over, I'm telling you, this is the place that is the last island of hope that we have as free human beings. Somebody before us fought and died and bled for to create an experiment called these United States of America, okay? And the problem is, it's our problem, it's our fault. We let it go. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't perfect, but for sure, in 5,000 years of civilization, of governments of the world, nobody else ever had a solution like this republic. It was, and it is unique. So that's why I tell you, I'm here, and I enjoy every second. Right now, before I'm going to talk about serious topics, I want to just share, I really enjoy little things in life, I don't need to eat fancy food, I don't need to have expensive wines. I like simple but good and organic things, okay? I don't eat garbage, that's for sure. But right now I'm enjoying my little moment of peace, some beautiful organic dates from California, one of the few last things that in the state is still happening. Sorry, guys, you're gone almost, but at least you still do some good dates, and they're organic, no pesticides. So I'm having that, very good. I really need these minerals to replenish, After 2 hours standing in this at the range in Lake Havasu, at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon with my friend Chris from the Havasu range, from the Havasu Guns store. 132 degrees is not exactly for human, okay? But it was great. I'm doing fine. I drank plenty of water, and now since I'm cool off, and I'm having some dates, and I'm having some great beer. I had some Black Bridge Brewery from my friend Tim Siewert from Kingman. By the way, as I said before, at the Black Bridge Brewery you can also find the Zanna coffee, that I invite you really to go there. If you want, you can buy the bag. I appreciate it, support the show. Or if you you just can drink a cup. Beautiful cold brew coffee that is really, really good. Anyway, now, what I want to talk about this is the moment that, as I said, every one of us needs to decide they want to stand up or not. Being silent is not going to make you innocent. To be silent today means you're guilty. If you don't speak up, your silence is consent. That's a fact. I watched a video just a couple of days ago about these violent acts of cowardice of these anti-Trump supporters. Don't get me wrong, this is not even about Trump. If you don't like Trump, I couldn't care less. I would talk about this even if it was a Hillary supporter or a Bernie supporters or any supporters out there. Nobody deserved to be violently, cowardly attacked just because of their ideas, just because they try to exercise the First Amendment. That's the point. Then, of course, when you are somebody that also you're a coward, and I would like to say more, but I am on the air after all. Even, of course, I'm in my jacuzzi, but I'm on the air. So I have some FCC limitations, and I have a long list of names I would like to call you. But I cannot do that, otherwise the station would be probably fined and shut down. So I will limit to that. You are a bag of dirty crap and cowards. Every one of you that try also to surround a woman who's standing for ideas, regardless you like it or not. And you scum, probably don't even speak English, and not because I speak better, but the point is I'm an American at least. Okay? You hate this country. You come here, you don't even love it. You're so brainwashed, so messed up in your brain that you think this is your land. You know, if it was your land, go back where you're from. But my point is, regardless what land it is, you do not attack, surround an innocent woman on American soil like a pack of dirty coyotes, spitting on her, throwing eggs at her, and be ready also to go physical. And shame on all the cops of the San Jose or wherever they were, these places, they did not defend the right of this woman and many other people like her. As I said, if you don't like Trump, that's not the point. I'm not a Trump supporter either. That's not about Trump. It's about freedom of speech. That's what it is about. Okay? So be clear. I would have said that even if it was Bernie Sanders support that I detest, or Hillary, or Bush, I don't care. Nobody deserves to be physically attacked for their ideas in America. Okay? And then when I see, of course, men, or what they're supposed to look like men, for me, as I said, they're a pack of garbage, not even human excrement. They're subhuman excrement walking on legs in numbers because they're cowards, of course. And they need to attack this poor woman on video. It makes me really boil my blood. I have no more restraint. And what I really am sad, I said on this post on Facebook, where are the men? Where are the police? That's the disturbing thing. 2016, we have become a country of nurtured, spineless, full of estrogen men. And I'm not trying to be mean, it's a fact. I don't think 50 years ago your fathers or grandfathers would allow this stuff. You would have started a revolution on the street. You spit on American woman just because of their hairhead or their political affiliation. You threaten her with violence on our soil. You throw eggs at her. It should be right there. American people taking arms and kicking these bastards out. And then, of course, shame on the police. Even if they had to follow the orders, I don't care. You wearing that badge. You took an oath to defend this republic, to defend our constitution, to defend our rights. That's why you're supposed to be there, not to collect tickets. Okay? Shame on you. How can you wear the uniform tomorrow morning? When you saw what was happening there, you didn't do anything. And that's why we just watched a video. There are many other cases or many other videos. So, as much as I'm trying to be calm, as I said, this is the hour about love, I need to talk about this. There is something we must do. We must start to understand that we are under attack, also chemically. I believe it. We are what we eat. And I'm not telling you what to eat. I couldn't care less. But I tell you something, man. If you start to drink garbage, eat garbage, and eat estrogen all day long, and yes, one of the things you do, you eat that probably twice a day, the burger coming from hell, full of estrogen. And I'm not telling you do not eat meat. That's up to you. I couldn't care less. The point is, at least if you eat meat, eat good meat. Do not eat something that resounds like some sort of a pharmaceutical, list of chemicals. In this normal now meat, you got estrogens, you got antibiotics, you got growth hormone. And I tell you, estrogen is the most important thing to destroy your manhood. Come on, if you eat estrogen all day, you become a woman. Or at least you become half enough. And that's why this country is going to hell. That's why people are not standing up anymore. I really believe it. Then you put some over-medication for your brain that they give you now every time you have a headache. Doctors give you mind control prescriptions. You become a zombie. That's why we're becoming a nation of zombies. That's why I say, please, if you're listening to the show, don't think I'm crazy. And if you think I'm crazy, I couldn't care less, really. But if you realize that you're already taking 2 or 3 medications for your brain, probably you don't need maybe. Find other solutions. take care of yourself. We need everybody. We need each other. We need to be healthy, mentally and physically. That's why unfortunately, we are being taken over. So anyway, that's the point. Now, talking about love, I created this website a couple years ago called freedomlovers.us. And I want to go back on the air to bring singles. It's like some sort of a dating on the air system that I introduce singles, men and women, that who love freedom. I'm not telling you what to believe, but the only thing I ask you that we respect each other. You don't want to impose your beliefs on others. And you believe in our basic rights, enumerated in our Bill of Rights, and also in the principles of our Declaration of Independence. That's it. I don't care if you're from Mars, America, Germany, all I care that you believe in these ideals, and I welcome you on the show, okay? So, that's the idea. So if you want to be on my show, just give me a ring. In this case, send me an email. Go to lovegunsfreedom.com. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love cold water. lovegunsfreedom.com, and you can find my email. And then say, I want to be on the show, Luca. And I call you and I put you on the show. Then, of course, you can promote yourself, tell us about you, what you believe, what you like. Send me also a photo. I will post it on lovegunsfreedom.com. And then I also invite you to join www.freedomlovers.us. 100% free. There is no even credit card request. Nothing. How does it happen? It's free. Yes, it's free because it's my act of love. I want to create a community where American people or people from around the world who believe in freedom can join and meet together to become friends, to network, and even, why not, to date. Now, how do I make the money there? Guess what? You can help me out. That's the way I can support this show. That's the way I can support these ideas. First of all, I'll give you different ideas. From the most affordable, just 99 cents. I mean, if you don't have 99 cents, I feel sorry for you, seriously. But I know you have it, you can help. Go to Zanna, www.zanna.us. You see that I wrote more than 100 songs in the last probably 18 years. I'm a little songwriter, from love songs to patriotic songs to rebellious songs, instrumental songs. That's what I do. I like to write songs. So, you can download any of my songs, even individually, for just 99 cents. Go to zanna.us. That's number one way. Then, you can go to, for example, Zanna Art, ZANNAART.com. And you can see there are t-shirts, there are paintings, and the different beautiful things. A copy of the Constitution, little gift ideas. Come on, for anybody, very affordable price. Then, of course, if you want to do it, coffee. If you drink coffee already every day, I'm not going to feel sorry to ask you. So then just buy regular GMO, full of garbage and pesticides coffee. Go to www.zannacoffee.com. And you have 3 beautiful, unique, delicious blends, organic, GMO-free. One is straight shot espresso. Start your day with a bang. Great coffee. You can also grind for American coffee, not just for espresso. And then you have also the 1776 great dark roast and the coffee to brew a revolution. 1776. And then there is, for the more medium roast, great American coffee, organic. There is the new blend called Route 66 coffee. Amazing taste. Great prices, and also when you buy 3, you get a super special flat rate shipping. With every bag, you get 2 free songs of mine to download. What can I say? If you want to help the show, you got a chance. And as I said, this is not the government. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. But this is the way you can, if you want to support the show, that's the way you can do it. Otherwise, that's fine. I continue to do my life and you do yours. So, I think it's time to dress up. It was a great, refreshing moment from my contemplation, meditation. I don't do yoga. I don't believe in this stuff. But, for me, this is my yoga. Be in peace, no noises, just being here with the water, pretty much my element. I love water. Even I live now in the desert. I don't need to go to the ocean to have water. I have here in my jacuzzi, I got great water from my well. And I put some sea salt. Oh, I feel like I'm in Malibu without being California, without the freaking parasitic government. I think it's great. And I gotta keep also my guns here, so that's great. Okay, guys, you'll be listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna, a little bit of music. And all I can say, God's willing, I'll talk to you next Sunday. Thank you very much for listening.